Okay, Assalamualaikum. So we will be starting in a few minutes time. All right. So I would like to introduce the teams for today. Myself, and there are two others who will be co-hosting the workshop for today. Encik Hashim Muda from Pengajaran UKM, and also my PA Encik Muhammad Faizal from the Faculty of Law UKM. Alright, saya mulakan dulu dalam bahasa kebangsaan sedikit. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada semua para peserta yang hadir pada bengkel pada hari ini. Selamat datang. Saya tak pernah cakap selamat datang ke Fakulti Undang-Undang UKM, selamat datang ke bengkel bengkel maya yang akan kita adakan pada hari ini. I will be continuing in English as soon as we start with the workshop. Okay, I would like to welcome the Dean of the Faculty of Law. Saya ucapkan selamat datang juga kepada Dekan Fakulti Undang-Undang Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM, Profesor Dr. Nazura Abdul Manap. Selamat datang, Prof. Dan tanpa melengahkan masa, kita jemput Dekan yang berbahagia, Dekan Prof. Dr. Nazura Abdul Manap untuk memberikan sepatah dua kata. Silakan, Prof.
Okay, terima kasih Profesor Madya Dr. Syarul Mizan. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Saya rasa bersyukur pada pagi ini, alhamdulillah akhirnya program bengkel yang sebenarnya kita telah rancangkan agak lama di Fakulti Undang-Undang di bawah portfolio Dr. Mizan sebagai Timbalan Dekan Jaringan dan Penjanaan, tetapi perancangan awalnya adalah dalam bentuk bengkel, bukan bengkel maya, bengkel biasa lah, bengkel fizikal. Tapi kita sempat rasanya menjalankan satu sahaja, Dr. Mizan. Tapi alhamdulillah hari ini kita sudah mula bergerak semula, aktif semula, dan kita mulakan dengan bengkel maya hari ini. Jadi memandangkan saya dimaklumkan oleh Dr. Mizan bahawa peserta pada pagi ini juga terdiri daripada peserta-peserta dalam kalangan pensyarah antarabangsa. So saya memberi sedikit ucapan dalam bahasa Inggeris dengan izin. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. First and foremost, on behalf of the Faculty of Law, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome all of you to this online learning workshop series for law lecturers. With the current development of pandemic COVID-19, most of our normal norms or normal routine has changed, including the way we do our job, teaching. And I admit that our profession is among the luckiest ones because we are able to fully utilize the online communication and digital technology to ease and assist our tasks. I believe this structured workshop, which being designed by Dr. Mizan, consists of 4 separate workshop series dealing with topics relating to how to conduct lecture online, which we'll be doing it today. Number 2, how to conduct tutorials online, and how to design online assignment. And finally, how to conduct online exam or test will help all of us in managing our daily function as a lecturer. And the beauty about all these series is it is specially designed to suit the needs of law lecturers. So I believe that all of us actually coming from the law background. I am so thankful to Associate Professor Dr. Syarul Mizan Ismail for initiating this program, as I said, under his portfolio as the Deputy Dean of Networking and Income Generation of the Law Faculty of UKM. All of us in the faculty do, as with Dr. Mizan help, a lot of problems in online teaching is solved, alhamdulillah. I think I wouldn't take much of your time as it is needed more for the workshop. I wish you all the best and hope you will gain so much benefits from this program. And happy Teachers Day, selamat berpuasa, and thank you very much. Pass to you. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be in the bengkel as well, in the shop.
Terima kasih Prof. Terima kasih banyak-banyak Prof. Kita akan continue banking dalam bahasa Inggeris lah. Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone, and Happy Teachers Day, as Prof. Dr. Nazrul Abdul Manaf has said. I noticed that the biggest bulk of the participants for today's workshop come from my alma mater, International Islamic University Malaysia. I miss everyone. I can see Dr. Zuraida over there, Kak Shanas, Prof. Farid. I miss you all. I give a big hug to everyone. Okay, Aliza, I noticed that you're still not thinner than me, so macam tak apa, it's okay. Okay, so just please take note that the workshop is just very relaxed. It's a very relaxed workshop, informal workshop. So santai-santai saja. I'll be using both English and Bahasa Malaysia from time to time. For those of you who are international, for the international participants, you don't have to worry lah. If I were to say anything in BM, I will translate it in English. But there are some jokes that I would just say in BM lah. Quote, it's funnier in BM. All right, okay. Okay, so today's workshop is actually the first part of the 4 series of workshop for law lectures on online learning. Today is for how to conduct lectures online. So without any further ado, I will start with my slide here. Okay, so all throughout the workshop, if you need any help, just look at the list of participants. You will see the name Hashim Muda, okay, the technical person for today, and also the organizing committee is Mr. Faizal, my PA. All right. So just a little bit of announcement for how you should be participating in the workshop. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see 2 buttons on the left. You have your microphone button and your video cam button. All throughout the workshop, you must make sure that your microphone is muted to prevent noises from the surrounding areas to come into the from coming into the meeting room. Okay, and also make sure that you switch on your video at all time. If it's not possible, at least the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes of the workshop. This is for safety reasons. Okay, and whenever you want to go somewhere, perhaps you want to go to the kitchen, to the toilet, we understand this is an online learning work. This is an online workshop. So sometimes, you have to tend to something at home. So you just basically switch off your video for a while, go and do whatever that you need to do and come back. All right. Also at the bottom of the screen, you will see the participants button. So you can see the list of participants over there for today's workshop. So I think those are the basic things that you have to know about today's workshop. If you have any questions, write them in the chat section of the virtual workshop. Okay, and Mr. Faisal will be helping me and Mr. Hashim as well to read the questions aloud to everyone, and I will be answering the questions from time to time. Okay, so unless, of course, if you have something very urgent to ask me, then you can just unmute your microphone and just go ahead and ask me, and I will answer the question. Okay, perhaps you have to ask the question there and then. Okay, then I will answer. Okay, all right, so let's start. Okay. Okay, so this is today's workshop, how to conduct online lectures. Okay. First and foremost, workshop tips. So please use your laptop for the Zoom workshop and have your smartphone ready as well nearby. Okay, because you'll be using your smartphone for the simulation session. Okay, it is not advisable for you to open your Zoom via your smartphone, because when you want to use your smartphone for the other apps, it might be a little bit tricky. You can actually do that, but it might be a little bit difficult if you're not very IT savvy. Okay, so the first tip is make sure you use your laptop for Zoom and your smartphone is for the app simulation. Okay, number 2, I just would like to clarify here, we are all lawyers here. The first time that I'm conducting a workshop just for law lecturers. My workshops before this is basically open to all disciplines for online learning. All right, so today is only for law. So as lawyers, I have to make this very clear from the very beginning. The workshop basically enriches your options. It does not mean that you have to use all the apps that I'll be introducing. Okay, I'm just giving you the options. These are the options that you can use, but if you feel that it's not suitable for your class, then you don't have to, all right? Or maybe you have some other reasons why you think that app is not something that you should use in your class, it's fine. Okay, so number 3, if you feel lost, okay, you may, if you feel lost, you may still ask questions in later in Telegram group. For example, after this workshop, you go back and you try using the apps at home, okay, and you find that you are stuck. You can still ask questions in Telegram group. I will be there. Mr. Hashim will be there. All right, we will try to assist you as much as possible. In my previous workshops, usually the Telegram group is very useful because usually during the time when the workshop is going on, there's nothing much that you will actually encounter because you are just watching and listening to me. But once you try it, then you will encounter some problems. Then you will ask in your Telegram group and I will be answering the questions there so that everyone can also benefit from the questions that you ask. Okay, number 4 is also very important. It's a sharing session, not a teaching session. So basically, I'm just sharing things that I've been using in my classes. So it's really open. If you feel that you know something about the apps that I'm using and you want to share, okay, with everyone, please feel free to do so, okay? Because there is no one e-learning instructor who knows everything in the e-learning world. We will not be able to master all the apps under the sun. Okay, so I'll be sharing with you, this is how I do it in my class, and these are the functions that I usually use. But if, say, for example, somebody asks a question, okay, what if I want to do this? And I've never done that in my class. So I'll be opening it to everyone in the workshop. Do you know how to do this? Have you done this before in your class using this app? If you have, please feel free to share. All right. Number 5 workshop tip is if you need video tutorials, you can just go to Dr. M's YouTube channel. That's my YouTube channel. I have video tutorials over there on how to use most of the apps that I will be introducing to you today and in the coming 4 series after this. All right. Okay. So these are the workshop tips. I hope everyone is clear. Okay. So this is the workshop learning outcomes for today. Okay, number 1, we will do a very short survey to identify the purpose of the workshop, just to make sure that the participants and the trainer, myself, are all on the same page. Sometimes we come to workshops with different expectations, and after the workshop, suddenly you feel that, oh, the workshop actually doesn't help me, because what you have in your mind as the participant, the purpose that you are seeking is actually different from the one that the trainer is trying to achieve. So that's number 1. We're going to do that, and we'll be using Mentimeter. So have your handphones ready with you, your smartphone ready with you. Open to Mentimeter app. It will be asking you to enter a class code. I'll be giving you the class code in a short while. Okay, so just get ready with that. After we have done the survey and identified the purpose of the workshop, in the second part, we will be going a little bit, just a little bit into the theory, all right, to understand the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. I've been doing some informal survey myself last night and day before, calling some of my IIUM friends because the biggest bulk of the participants for today is from IIUM. So just to check whether everyone is familiar with the concepts of synchronous and asynchronous online learning. I've been informed that you are quite familiar, so we won't be wasting so much time on this, but we still have to go into it a bit just to make sure in case there's somebody who is not very familiar with this concept. Okay, and then having understood this part, we'll go to the third part, which is to understand the instructional design. This is very, very important because without understanding instructional design, what's going to happen is we're just going to be grabbing at any online tool that we can get our hands on, and sometimes those tools will be working against us and we will not be achieving the learning outcomes that we want to achieve. We will not be achieving the instructional objectives that we want to achieve. So we have to understand a bit in terms of instructional design. There are many models of instructional designs, but for today, I'll choose the simplest and the most relevant for law. I know there are participants who are not from the law discipline, but for today, it's for law. So I'll be going into ADDIE model a bit. Having understood that, we move to the 4th part of the workshop, which is to identify the lecturing approaches in law. The importance of part number 4 is for you to understand that different online learning tools will give you different impact to the students. So you need to firstly understand your lecturing approach. What is the usual lecturing approach that you adopt for your class? It might be just one approach. It might be a combination of more than one approach. I'll be introducing to you, there are many lecturing approaches in general in education, but the ones that are relevant for law, I filtered the models. So the ones that are most relevant to law, I think there are 4 types. And we'll be going into that. And from number 4, when we go to number 5, I'll be introducing to you, sharing with you online tools which matches your lecturing approaches. Because if I were just to tell you, okay, let's use tool A, but tool A could be useful just for lecturing approach X, for example. So it doesn't match for other types of lecturing approach. So it won't help you. So that's the reason why we have to understand number 4 first before we go to number 5. Okay. All right. So up until this point, if there are any questions, Hashim, are there any questions in the chat box so far? No, no questions. Okay. Okay. All right. So please open your Mentimeter app in your smartphone. Okay, we'll do a short survey. The class code is as stated at the top of the screen. It's 966575. Okay, could see some people has given me some love. Thank you. Okay. Anybody wants to be a cat? There's a cat button there as well. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll start the survey, yeah? Okay. So you can start answering the question. Anybody else? 44 participants have answered the question. So we can see that there's one participant who is not from the discipline of law. Okay, so next one.
Right. This is the mic today.
Okay. So I can see that most of you are very, very familiar with Zoom and Google Meet. So during the workshop, I will not be focusing too much on Google Meet and Zoom lah, because you're familiar with it. So I'll be going more detailed into all the other apps. Yeah? Okay. All right. So we go to the next question. Anybody else? No? So not many people has used the animation maker. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Okay. So most of you have used PowerPoint screen recorder. Okay, so I will not be going into that. Okay, so I'll go into other apps that you may use that will give you the same function. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll go to the next question. Then, anybody else? Not everyone has answered, I think. So most of you are familiar with Google Classroom. Okay, all right. I'll be going into Padlet and Edpuzzle, but with different function. So, all right, okay. So none has actually used Nearpod, Spreaker, and Sutori. So we'll be going into Spreaker and Nearpod today. All right. Next one. Just choose one. Yeah. For this question, I think most of us uh, are quite familiar with both apps, but the one that you frequently use. Just choose the one that you frequently use. Okay, so most of us are familiar with WhatsApp and uses WhatsApp frequently. So for this question, the effect is the opposite. I'll be going into the app that you commonly use because this is social media apps. So if this is the apps that you are very comfortable with and the ones that you usually use for the purpose of interacting in social media, then I'll be going into that. So for today, it will be WhatsApp lah. All right. Okay, so we go to the next question. Oh, none of the above for both? Okay. We'll be going into these two sites in a more detailed manner in the next series. In the next series, yeah, when we discuss tutorial activities, because these are basically sites which provides you with many activity platforms. Okay. But today we'll be going into one or two functions in ClassTools.net for the purpose of lecturing. Okay. So next question. This is just for me to understand whether somebody has attended my workshop before, so that I can, if there are many people who has attended my workshop, then to adjust my content accordingly. So majority has not attended my workshop. Content for this workshop that I prepared is okay then. All right, next question. Oh, more coming. Okay. This is a sensitive question. Okay, but don't worry, I would know who you are based on your answer. This is basically just to assist me in terms of the generations of participants that I have in the workshop. I do not mean to generalize, but sometimes when I have category number 4 as the majority of the participants, I have to change my method of, I have to adjust my delivery method accordingly. Okay, so most are actually in the 4th category for today, 50 and above, yeah? Okay. Nobody in the 1st category, yeah? We're like Italy now, so aging population in the workshop today. Okay, so thank you. So we go to the next question. So 67% is in the 4th category. Okay, I need to know this. So based on the answers that you have given me for all the questions, and this is the most crucial question, it means that the pace for the workshop, I have to adjust it to be very slow so that I could be helpful to those who are in the red category, yeah? Very little in using technology in class before COVID-19 crisis. So for those participants who fall into the blue category, I do hope that you can bear with us. Okay, maybe there are things which you have catch up very quickly, but you need to just give some time for your friends in the red category to catch up lah. Yeah. Okay. So not only the red category, yeah, the yellow category is also there. None at all. Okay. So we have to go a bit slow for this workshop so that everyone can catch up. Okay. But if for those of you who are in the yellow, red, and pink category, if there are any questions after the workshop, do not worry. This workshop is recorded. You can always replay the workshop. If you have any questions, you can still ask me in the Telegram group. I will still be answering your questions there. Okay, and you can always go to my video tutorials in my YouTube channel. Okay, we go to the next question. Okay, so I can see from the answers given that most of the participants teach using PowerPoint slides. Yeah. So for the tools that I'll be introducing today, I'll try my best to focus on tools that can give you this function. All right. Okay. All right. So I'll move on to the next set of questions. Okay. All right. So meaning not many is actually focusing on designing learning experience. Yeah. So never mind. We'll be going into instruction design a bit just before we go into the online tools. Okay. All right. So we go to the last question for today, just to synchronize our expectation between the organizer and the trainer and with the participants. Yeah. Feel free just to write anything. Okay. Yellow box, best tools for teaching law, especially for practical skills. You'll be covering that. The simplest mode that everyone can use and understand. Okay, yeah, I'll be going into the simplest today because the workshop, today's workshop is beginners level. Yeah. So for those of you who are otai in learning technologies, okay, just bear with us. Today are the most basic. We go to the most basic tools. Yeah. To be able to conduct online tutorials effectively with a large amount of students and able to conduct online assessment effectively too. Yep, okay. To get a user-friendly platform, of course, that's number one. I myself, although I use technology quite a lot in my classes, I usually do not like to use the complicated tools unless it is very necessary for my purpose. Okay. All right. So I think generally we are on the same page. Yeah. What you are expecting is what you'll be getting, inshallah, for today's workshop. But my worry is just the time. It depends on the pace of the participants. I'm the kind of a trainer who will not rush the participants. If some participants are still asking questions, I will still try to answer as much as possible. Okay, so I think we are on the same page in terms of what you want and what I intend to give, but we will try to do it as much as possible within the time span that we have. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for your answers. Okay. We'll be going back to the slide. Okay. So as I've explained, we have completed number one of the learning outcome. I've done the survey and we have identified the purpose of the workshop. understand now where the emphasis of the workshop should be. All right. So we go to number 2 now, very quickly, because I understand that you are familiar with the concept of synchronous and asynchronous online learning. Okay. So synchronous online learning and asynchronous online learning is different in the sense of time. So basically, when you talk about synchronous online learning, you talk about your students and yourself are all together engaging in the learning environment, in the learning experience at the same time. Okay, there's one myth that I want to bust here. Synchronous online learning does not only mean that you have to do web conferencing. Most of the times I receive questions from participants in my workshop or friends who wants to know more about online learning. They say that, okay, synchronous means that we have to see the students and the students can see us in Zoom, right? No, that's one type of synchronous online learning. As somebody was mentioning in the Mentimeter question just now, right? You say you want the simplest method. So the simplest synchronous learning could be your WhatsApp. If you tell your students basically, okay, we're going to have a WhatsApp class at 2 p.m. on Wednesday to 4 p.m. on Wednesday, I expect everyone to be in front of their WhatsApp with their smartphone, okay? And I will be teaching in WhatsApp. So from 2 to 4 p.m., please make sure you are there. That's synchronous. Or if you use your LMS, I've asked around and I've been told that UIE is still using iTa'lim, right? So if let's say, for example, you use the chat function in iTa'lim, the live chat function, okay? You say from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., please wait in front of your computer and open the chat function. I'll be asking some questions over there and you need to answer the questions and please contribute in the discussion. This is synchronous online learning as well, not just web conferencing. Another method of doing online synchronous learning is also by audio conference. You don't necessarily have to see the student, but if you're doing it on the phone, for example, or maybe you use WhatsApp call, for example, that is also still considered to be synchronous online learning. Asynchronous, on the other hand, is that it refers to a situation whereby the students are not at the same place, they are not learning at the same time, they can learn flexibly at their own time. Meaning you make the learning materials available for them and they can just choose to access the materials and engage in the learning experience as and when and how they want to do it. Okay, so they can do it in their bedroom, on their bed, comfortably, or maybe while they are eating in a restaurant, for example, which we can't do now because of COVID-19, but I used to do this with my students. So different time. Information is relayed with a time lag, not immediately as in synchronous. Examples would be emails. I have participants who are in the 4th category, over 50 years old, who are not comfortable with anything else but email. Learning through email is a type of online learning, is asynchronous. So you basically send them instructions via email, you send them videos, your teaching videos via email, so they can watch the video anytime they want. So they are not learning together with their friends at the same time. So this is asynchronous. So I think in law, my experience, I'm not generalizing, but based on my experience, usually when I talk to law lecturers, most of the law lecturers are very much inclined to do synchronous online learning. Yeah. So there's a little bit of concept here. Synchronous online learning is very much going to the pedagogical side of teaching and learning. Education 4.0 or the 21st century education is actually moving towards heutagogical approach. Okay, there are 3 types here. Okay, actually there are more types, but this is the basic ones. So pedagogical, andragogical, and heutagogical. Pedagogical is the ones that we commonly use, okay, and the approach that have been used for so long. It means that the teacher is the one who controls the material and the learning experience. The teacher is the one that decides, that makes the decision in terms of how much the learn, when the learner can learn, how the learner can learn. So that's pedagogical, okay? But education 4.0 and 21st century learning, because why do I say education 4.0 and 21st century learning? Because online learning is cybergogy. Cybergogy is actually a part of 21st century learning. So in heutagogy, we give autonomy to the learners. So they decide how they want to learn, what they want to learn, how much they want to learn, yeah, and the method of how they want to learn. So if we go back to the slide before this slide, synchronous and asynchronous, synchronous actually gives more autonomy to the learners. They can choose how they want to access or be a part of the learning experience. So heutagogical is a method. The reason why I'm emphasizing on this is because based on my experience when I talk to lecturers, they will say that, oh, I don't feel comfortable giving my students doing my classes the asynchronous way. It doesn't feel as though I'm doing classes. It feels as though the students are just reading my slides. No, actually that's a part of online learning, is asynchronous learning. If you send materials in emails and the student learn from your material, your PowerPoint slide, that is an online learning method. It's a synchronous online learning method, and the school of thought is heutagogical. So that's the heutagogical approach to the learning experience, all right? So I hope that's clear. So we have covered number 2, understand the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. Now we go to understand instructional design. The reason why I want to go into, just for a show, we go into number 4 and number 5, is that ever since the COVID-19 crisis started, I've become a little bit worried because I've been receiving so many questions from all over Malaysia. Sometimes I don't even know the person, but the person, I don't know how he or she got my phone number. So ask questions about how to actually lecture online, how to actually do assignments online, how to do examinations online. And the way how the questions are being posed to me, it is as if the instructor really understand the functions and the impact that each online tools can actually give. It is basically a process of, okay, I have to do online learning now because I cannot meet my student face to face, so I'm just going to grab whatever online learning tool that is the simplest, the easiest, and the one that I can be confident in. So I'm just going to grab it and I'm just going to use it. So this is going to be defeating the instructional objectives. For example, most law lecturers like to go synchronous, yeah? And they are comfortable with web conferencing because that resembles the closest to the traditional way of teaching, i.e. lecturing face-to-face. So we want to do web conferencing. But if you don't do your instructional design, for example, ADDIE model will require you to do your A first. A means analysis. So if you don't do your need analysis, you might not realize that out of 100 students that you have in your lecture halls, about 12 of them do not have internet connection and 5 do not have devices. These students who fall into these 2 categories will be left out. So you will not be achieving your instructional objectives, okay? And if, let's say, for example, your way of teaching is just lecturing, one-way lecturing, okay, we're not going to discuss whether that's a good or bad way in this workshop. That's a different workshop altogether. But if that is your method, there's no point in asking the students to actually go into the web conferencing mode because they'll be using a lot of their internet data, okay, and for web conferencing, especially for video conferencing like what we're doing now in Zoom, it requires actually 1.5 to 2, it requires more than 2.5 Mbps. So that means your students will have to have a very stable internet connection, okay, unlimited Wi-Fi, okay, no mobile plan is not suitable for this. But if you're just going to use web conferencing for the purpose of you lecturing and you don't require them to actually give immediate response, then web conferencing is not the tool for that particular learning experience. So that's why it is important for us to do our instruction. Some might think that, oh, this is very, very, very tedious and I don't have time for this. I just have to start, teaching and preparing my material. If you do that, then you'll be encountering more problems and you'll be spending more time trying to remedy the problems. For example, the example that I gave you just now, right? You have 12 or 20 students, for example, who do not have internet connection and you'll be coming back to you. Okay, you're going to put this in a hand. Okay, but we have not had learning because of the internet connection. So how do you solve that problem? So you might as well design your instruction first properly before you go into the development materials. Yeah. So we'll be going into this now. Okay. So what is instructional design? Instructional design is, in short, okay, this is a technical definition, but the shortest one that I can get is the process by which learning products and experiences are designed, developed and delivered. So it is a process whereby you design your learning products and experiences, you develop the learning products and experience you one learning product, your online courses, your instructional manuals, your teaching videos, your PowerPoint slides, your whatever things that you use for the purpose of your class to conduct your class, your learning products. So instruction design is the process where you design the learning products, you develop your learning product, you deliver them to the students. Yeah. If you can see the last paragraph, instructional designers are the architects of the learning experience and the directors of the instructional system design IC process. I just want to take this opportunity to share with my law friends. Usually in my non-law workshop, general teaching and learning workshops, I told them that in the 21st century education, we are not so much a teacher, rather we are just the learning experience designer. Students can learn from anywhere else, not just from us. It's no longer the time where, this is no longer the era where we stand in front of the lecture hall and we are the sole source of information for the students. They can get information and knowledge from internet. They can go with the social media, they can just get the information from the industry even. Okay, they can just ask any lawyers they want, they can just ask any law lecturers from other universities if they want to. They can just go into Google, okay, and Google whatever things that they have to learn in class and they will get it. So we are not so much of a teacher, but we are more in terms of designing the learning experience. They can learn from these sources, but we are here to basically design a learning experience that's effective for them. All right. So simple definition is instructor design is basically delivering the right information to the learners through suitable approaches and relevant activities so that they can achieve their learning goal. Yeah? This is very important. As I was telling you just now, if what you want is your instructional objective is just to transmit information, that's all that you want, web conferencing is going to be a waste of time and money, because you just basically want to transmit information to the student. You might as well just go asynchronous, do a teaching video and post it on your YouTube channel, for example. Student can access it anytime. If you want to enhance their knowledge, for example, their understanding, maybe you can have a synchronous activity that comes after they have watched the video. So that could be something that you can do in your instructional design. Yeah? There are many models of instructional design. We have Kirkpatrick model, we have Merrill's model, but like, and the one that is most relevant for law is the one that I'm showing on the screen now. It's the ADDIE model. It involves 5 stages. So first you analyze, this is the analysis, kind, the design phase, and then you develop your learning material, and then you implement it in your class. And number 5 is the most important, especially for online learning. Once you have implemented, you have to evaluate. The feedback from your students is very crucial. For example, you try web conferencing, you try Zoom, for example, and you do it with your students. At the end of number 4, do number 5. Ask the students, how was the learning process using Zoom? Was it good? Was it effective? What was the problem? Were there any problems that they have encountered? If they have encountered any problems, take note, change the method, change the approach, the online to solve the problem. So this is what we call the ADDIE model of instructional design. Yeah? I go into the steps a bit. When you do analysis, this is the most crucial part. Okay, you have 2 instructional goals. For example, instructional goals are different from learning outcomes. Learning outcomes means you're talking about the learning outcome of the course itself. Okay, what should the student be getting ataupun be achieving at the end of your course? That is your learning outcome. Or maybe you have learning outcome for your topic. For this particular topic, by the end of the topic, they should be getting what, right? They should be achieving what. But instructional goal is more towards your sessions. Okay, for example, now I have 3 hours of workshop with participants. What is my instructional goal? By the end of this workshop, should they be achieving? Okay, so instructional goal must be very, very clear. For example, as I was giving you examples now, right? If your instructional goal for the 2 hours class is just for them to get information, you just want to transmit information to them, no activities, you don't want any skills or anything, then you might as well just go asynchronous. So the instructional goal will determine your tools and your approach. Okay. So B, knowledge gaps and levels. You have to understand this I did with you just now. What I did with you in the beginning of workshop just now using Mentimeter, right? I was doing this actually. I was doing the need analysis. I'm trying to see the knowledge gaps and levels among us. What most of the participants have and what those that they are not familiar with, so that I can give the proper emphasis to my content. Okay, and C, limitation and capabilities. It's not about your students or your participants.
Okay.
Yes, Dr.
Just
Roslina.
now we can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear? You can hear me.
Okay, just now. Yeah.
Where? At which point did that happen?
Can you go back? Just repeat a little bit. Just a little bit. Just just 1 minute. I think I can't hear
Oh,
you.
okay.
Alright.
Sorry. Is it this one? Still on this slide, yeah, Dr. Roslina?
Yeah, still in this slide. Yeah.
Okay. So in ADDI model, there are 5 steps that I've mentioned just now. When you design your instructional content, you have to analyze your participants. Okay, and for this you have to consider your instructional goals. I'm not sure whether this was the point where I became lost to everyone in the workshop again. Learning outcomes and instructional goals is different from learning outcomes. Learning outcomes are things that you want the students to achieve at the end of your course or maybe at the end of the topic. Instructional goals refers to your goal for that particular class. For example, you have 2 hours of lecture. So what is your instructional goal? My goal is just to transmit information. Okay, if your goal is just to transmit information, then you should just maybe you can just go asynchronous, like what I said just now. You can just record yourself in a video, each video, and you can share the video with the student. B, knowledge gaps levels. So this is what I was doing with participants in today's workshop just now. I was trying to gauge the knowledge gaps and levels among the participants. I could see that some are very familiar with this and some are not familiar at all. Some are partially familiar. So I'm trying to understand the knowledge gaps and level between the participants, and I need to inform my learners. Okay, because we have this big number of students or learners who are not so familiar. So the ones who are familiar, they should wait. Maybe you can have a different design for them because they are familiar. Maybe you can make them to be facilitator to help those who are actually in the slow category, for example. So you can use the analysis stage to do this, to gauge the knowledge gaps and levels. And you also need to consider C, limitations and capabilities of the learners. For example, for your class, if let's say you have 100 students, like what I was saying just now, right? You have 100 students, you have 50 students who are from who lives in the cities. They have no problems with internet connection, but you have maybe 1 or 2 students who stay in Sabah, where they stay in the rural area and their internet is not very good. And capabilities. I have the experience of conducting online learning with my students because I've been using online learning for so many years. So there will always be students who have problems with devices. They may have strong internet connection, they are very IT savvy, but their device is not good. Meaning not good in the sense that it's not good. It means that there's some problems with the device. Maybe their laptop is affected, or maybe their phone is so canggih kan. So this is limitation and capabilities. And then once the ABC, and then you need to analyze strategy and tools that you want to use. Okay, so the next phase is all these things, then you design. Okay, so now based on what I have analyzed, I will design learning materials. So for this, you have to have all those things. I won't be going into detail. That's a different workshop altogether. This is the touch and go. So you formulate or you plan your measurable objectives, your methods, the activities and tasks that you want to do based on the need analysis you have done, the types of resources. Type of resources refers to just not the material you want to use for your class. It also refers to the presenter, who is supposed to present. For example, based on my need analysis, for the topic that I have students this week on prerogative rates, because I teach civil procedure, it's a practical paper, final year paper. So I teach law students to basically become a civil litigator. So one of the topics in my course is prerogative rates. So I consider myself to be incompetent for this topic, to give them the learning experience that they need, because I only know the theories, but I do not have the practical experience, because when I was in practice, I've never done this. So the types of resource that I need is not myself as a presenter, so I need an outsider. So I have to consider that into my design. So the length and duration also as well should be considered as well in the design phase. For example, ever since the COVID crisis started, I've converted my lectures to be flipped, meaning they should be going into my YouTube channel first, listen to my lecture in the teaching videos. If they have any questions, they can ask in the comment section beneath the teaching video in the YouTube channel. And when I meet them synchronously in class online, I do not want to waste time. So the class duration has changed from 2 hours to just 1 hour, because I consider the limitation and capability of the students in terms of internet data and their bandwidth. So this is something that you have to consider in design. So once you have design and then you develop. So when you develop, you secure this. I hope this helps. This very short explanation helps, because this actually requires a different workshop altogether. This can be a one-day workshop altogether. I've done this for other groups. So I hope this very short explanation helps. Yeah. Okay, now we go to the fourth part, identify lecturing approaches in law. So the lecturing approaches, there are many lecturing approaches, but the ones that are relevant for the discipline of law is actually this four. Okay. The first one I think is the most common. Okay. It's called the informative lecturing approach. The second one is also quite common, especially for those of you who are teaching practical papers in law. Okay, I know that UIA has compulsory mooting, UIA has legal method. Okay, I'm sure the other law schools have more or less the same type of subjects. So legal method, compulsory moot, so you have your professional practice, or in UKM we have a division of components of legal practice, components of professional practice. For example, we have conveyancing, then we have corporate pentadbiran harta. This is for your bankruptcy and winding up, all these things. Yeah. Civil procedure, criminal procedure, these are practical and procedural papers, and usually the lecturing approach is instructive or modeling. Persuasive or Socrative is the other term for this, is Socrative or Socratic learning, is where you teach by using question. I think this is quite common among lecturers teaching subjects like jurisprudence, or in UIA I think you have usul fiqh, and then in UKM I think you have Islamic jurisprudence. Yeah, so this is usually the method used for those kind of subjects. The last one, which are commonly used by law instructors, are narrative lecturing approach. We do this we teach our students by sharing stories from our experience or other people's experience. Oh, you know, when I was in practice, the read that I drafted, this thing happened. I went to court and this thing happened. You know, the judges actually scolded us for doing this mistake, blah, 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 blah. So we are narrating stories and experiences to the student. Sometimes we also narrate stories from cases, because a discipline, the law discipline is a discipline that requires the student to actually learn by referring to decided cases. Instructive is when we want to illustrate or demonstrate the doing of something or the thinking of in a certain way. So this is instructive or modeling. I basically use this method quite a lot in my civil procedure class, because it's a practical paper. So, okay, people, this is how you're supposed to draft your writ of summons, or this is how you're supposed to draft your statement of claim. This is how the writ looks like. This is how statement of claim looks like. This is instructive, modeling approach to lecturing. Socrative or Socratic or persuasive is when you try to convince the student or try to provoke the students to learn through the mixture of logic, rhetoric, evidence. So you may be using this in philosophical subjects like jurisprudence, usul fiqh, Islamic jurisprudence, or maybe you can even use this for your substantive law papers, because you know there are rooms for them to argue, debate. This is what law, legal education is all about, right? So this is the method, one of the methods that I use. So narrative is when you share stories to illustrate an abstract concept. So we go to the first one, informative. Okay, this is a bit too small, so I'm going to go here. Okay, can maybe Dr. Rosalina can help me, or maybe Hashim or any participants can help me. Can you see the screen? Can anybody say something?
Yes, Dr. Sharo, yes, we can see.
Okay.
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, so if you are using the informative lecturing approach, you start by asking the first questions. Okay, you now have to decide which learning tool that you should use. So you ask the questions: do students have unlimited Wi-Fi? Because you just want to transmit information here. Informative is just transmitting information. So do students have unlimited Wi-Fi? If the answer is no, then you have to go asynchronous. Okay? And if let's say the students answer to this question is yes, they have unlimited Wi-Fi. Next question is, do you need to engage the students or not? Or are you the type of lecturers who basically just wants to lecture? You don't need the students to actually say anything during the lecture. If the answer is you do not need to engage the students, once again, use the asynchronous approach. Okay, if you feel that students have unlimited Wi-Fi, you want to engage the student, the third question is, do you need real-time responses? Meaning, you want the students to respond immediately. If you do not need immediate response, then once again, asynchronous approach. But if your students have unlimited Wi-Fi, you want to engage them and you want immediate response from the student during the lecture period, so you can use synchronous approach. Okay, so now we go to the steps, the online design step, the design and development phase in ID model. Okay, so for asynchronous, we go to asynchronous first. So for asynchronous, okay, please remember, because everybody is so into teaching videos, meaning, oh, we have to do teaching videos. But there are another branch or another type of mechanism that we can use, which is audio. So we can make teaching video or we can make teaching audio. Because for my students, when I did my need analysis, I discovered that all of my students have internet connection. Alhamdulillah, I'm lucky for this semester. But I have about 34 students with weak internet connections or limited mobile data plan. So I make my I chose teaching audio for the past 2 weeks that I have conducted my flip class. So instead of putting teaching video, I put up podcast episodes in podcast. Okay, and this I did that using this particular tool, which I'm going to introduce to everyone after this, called Spreaker Studio. And I upload the teaching audio on the learning platform, which is Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com and Spreaker Studio is different. Spreaker Studio is where you develop your learning material. Spreaker.com is where the students access your learning materials. Okay, and it can also be put up in YouTube, meaning you put up only audio in YouTube, not video. Okay, so this is something that you can also do apart from make teaching video. And after I have done this for 2 weeks, I receive responses from students, especially those in the 34 category tadi tu, and they thanked me for this. They said, thank you very much, Pani Doctor, for choosing this method as well, because it's easier for us now. Because in podcast only requires 1.5 to 2.5 Mbps rather than more than 2.5 for videos. Okay, so you can also choose this. Okay, teaching video can be divided into 2 types. So based on the need analysis for this workshop that I've done this morning, most of you are those who teach with slides. So if you teach with slides, which I've predicted, so your tool should be Screencasting Tool. Okay, and I choose these two. There are many tools to do this, but the one that I find to be the easiest and the simplest for beginners is the Screencast-O-Matic. I have a video tutorial for this in my channel, YouTube channel, and I also will show this a little bit, but I won't be going into this too much because based on the need analysis just now, most of you are quite familiar with screencasting. Maybe you use a different one, not Screencast-O-Matic, maybe you use PowerPoint Recorder, for example, or maybe use Screencastify. Okay, these are the common ones in the market. So as long as you know how to use it, then it's the tool for you. If you are the type that teaches with slide, because with screencasting, you can actually record yourself at the side of the screen. Okay, sorry for the noise. Okay, you can record yourself at the side of the screen together with your slides. Okay, on the screen, so you can teach as though you teach in your lecture hall. Okay, so screencasting is one of the ways. Another way is for you to use animation. You can just use animation. Sounds posh and it sounds difficult for law people, I understand that, but actually there are many tools where you can use, and it's quite drag and drop, not something that requires you to need to know coding and whatnot. Okay, so the simplest one that I will be introducing is Bytable. I could see some of you have done this based on the need analysis just now. Yeah, so Bytable is one tool that you can use. It's really drag and drop, insert your wording into the website, okay, into the app, and then you can just create a video, an animation video. Okay, once you have created the video or the audio, you have to upload your video or audio on learning platform. Just now I've explained for audio learning platform, you have these two options over here. You can upload your audio in YouTube or in Spreaker.com. But if you want to upload video, you can do in your LMS. Okay, maybe in your iTaklim, I'm very sure because I've asked around and I'm told that iTaklim is actually Moodle. So if you are using Moodle, meaning iTaklim tu is your ni kan, your learning management system, but the system tu, you know it as iTaklim, but the learning management system tu is actually Moodle. So Moodle memang ada function, it has the function of where you can upload your videos. So you can upload your teaching video in LMS, or like myself, I'm to be very frank, and my dean is here, my dean also knows this, I don't use my LMS very much because students complain to me that they have problems loading the LMS, the learning management system, maybe because it's too heavy. So I put my teaching videos in my YouTube channel. I have 3 different channels in my account. So one is basically for me to just share things about teaching and learning in my Dr. M's channel. Another one is the one specifically used for classes. I have YouTube channel called Tata Cara Civil Procedure. So all my teaching videos are in that particular channel. Students subscribe to that channel so they know every time I upload new teaching videos over there. Another way, simplest way, for those of you who are in the 4th category or who are not IT savvy, you can just upload your video in your Google Drive and then just get a shareable link, okay, and just share it with the students, and the students can just watch it from their laptop. So these are the 3 learning platforms that you can use for videos. So this is, if you use a synchronous method, you can see there are 2 steps. First, make the teaching video or teaching audio, then just upload the video or audio on the platform, and the students can access the material at their own time. Okay, so I will now be going into Spreaker. Okay, let me just show you how to create a podcast. Okay, I will be going into teaching audio first because screencasting you're quite familiar kan? Okay, so let's go into Google. I'm now in Google. Nampak tak? Alright, okay. So you just type Spreaker Studio, enter. Okay, tick this one. Okay, this is Spreaker.com. Spreaker.com is the way you can access your podcast. How your students access your podcast, they just type over here. Okay, see for example, my student, they want to type my name. They can just type Shahrul Mizan. Ismail. Okay, so these are my podcasts. I have 2 here. My original comments, topic for editing summary, and prerogative reads and judicial review. So these are my podcasts. So once they click here, they see all my episodes. All these episodes, podcasts. The good thing about podcasts is that it's just audio. It's very light. So the students usually will have no problem accessing this information. Remember, we do not want those with the low bandwidth to be left out of the learning process. So with podcasts, it's easier. Okay. So the podcast is just audio, so it might be a good idea for you to send your PowerPoint slide to the students before you upload your episodes. So when they refer to your episodes, when they listen to your episodes, they can also refer to the PowerPoint slides. Yeah. Okay. For example, let's try this one over here. Okay. So this is my podcast. Boleh dengar ke Ashik?
Terima kasih. Ramai peminat. Terima kasih di atas tepukan yang bergemuruh tadi. Ya. Selamat datang ke rancangan Dr. M. Dan pada kali ini.
So, if you can hear that, so that's what the students will hear as well. So you get your content in chunks like this. As if you can see the time here, each episode is not more than 15 minutes because if you go for the free account, this is free. Each episode must not be more than 15. Actually, this is good. Although this sounds like a limitation, from the online learning perspective, good. Because usually if it's more than 15 minutes, the students will lose concentration in online learning. So try to keep it in small episodes, okay? Divide your content into small chunks, like what I'm doing here. This one is the introduction. This one is the what is originating summons for those for international participants. I'm translating cases that describes or explains originating summons, the format of originating summons, the content. So divide the content into chunks like this, okay? And the students are able to download it. So for example, some students may say, oh, I do not have good internet connection. So sometimes when my father is back from work, I will just use the hotspot from his internet. So maybe when my father switch on the hotspot, I can just download everything and then I can listen it later in my handphone, for example. So this is what you can do with podcasts. Okay, let me show you how it is. If you want to create podcasts, so what you need to do is, okay, let's just go to Spreaker. Okay, this is the home page just now that I was showing you, right? So instead of finding a podcast or listening to a podcast, you create a podcast with Spreaker. Just click over here, okay? So you have three options. You have upload your podcast, record or go live, and you have import your podcast. So go straight to record or go live, okay? Go straight to record or, okay. If you want to go live, you can explore the option, but I seldom use this. I've only used this once, okay? I do not like to use live because sometimes, I make mistakes in preparing my episode. So I prefer to go offline. Okay, so open the app, okay? So the pop-up will come up, okay? Just click yes, open Spreaker Studio. Okay, oh, now it's okay. Hang on for a second, yeah. I'll just change it to a different window. Okay. Just wait. Okay. This is how it looks like. Can you see it? Can somebody say something? What do you see? I'm just afraid that we're looking at different things here. Do you see the Spreaker Studio?
Microphone sources is the playlist track.
Do you see the red button, Dr. Zuraida, start button?
The big one on the top.
Yes,
Start button.
We're looking at the same screen. So what you need to do is, if you want to record an episode, just press start over here. Okay, that will give you a pop-up will come out. Will give you two options, either live or offline. So what you need to do is, for me, I will choose offline. Okay, offline. Okay, now it's recording an episode. So you basically just talk lah. Okay, class, today we're going to learn about originating summons. I will start by telling you what originating summons is, then blah, 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 blah. So if you have actually emailed to them your slide, just tell them in this audio, okay, I would like you to refer to the slides that I've emailed you. If you look at the slide, there are 20 slides, right? So for this episode, I'll be using slide number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go to the first slide. Please look at it. Since we're talking about this in the context of legal education, so most of you will need the students to refer to statutes. So tell them in advance in the beginning of the episode, okay, guys, I need you to refer to your statutes. Like for example, for myself, I want you to have your rules of court with you, please. So if you do not have them with you, if you do not have it now with you, please pause this episode, this audio episode, and go and get your rules of court first, and then you can continue, okay? State whatever things that they need for the class at the beginning of the episode. So once you have finished recording, you just press the pause button over here, okay? Then a stop button will appear. So you just click stop over here, okay? And it will bring you to this page, okay? So this is your recording just now. See, you can see created today at 11:46, okay? You can change the title later, okay? So click button publish. So when you click the publish button, it will give you the opportunity to enter the title of your episode, your podcast episode. So you can put, for example, this one I'm just going to write test podcast. Okay, then you can put description, okay? This episode is about what? Okay? Then do not trouble yourself with unnecessary buttons. So I'm not going to go into that. You can explore it later. Jangan serabut-serabut kau tak. Okay. So then you can either choose an existing podcast or you can create a new one by pressing here. So I'm going to create a new one here, new podcast. So bring me to this. Okay. Let me just share the screen. You bring me here. Can you see this particular ni? Anybody can help me? What are you seeing now? Can you see add episode info before publishing?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, okay.
Yes.
Basically, just choose this and hang on for a second, yeah. Let me just choose the right screen. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, this is the one. Okay, so you're creating a new podcast. When you create new just now, it will bring you to this window. So you add whatever things that you want to name the podcast. Okay, let's say for example, test again. Okay, you choose your language. We have Bahasa Malaysia. Okay, or English. I think UAE is using English, right? So for me in UKM, I'll use Malay. All right, and choose category. Okay, so many things here. You can just choose any one. Okay, I'll just choose something here. Okay, then go further down. Choose here whether you want it to be public, private, or limited access. Okay, and then okay, meaning you have hang on for a second, yeah. Okay. Okay. Once you have done that, you have finished the creating of the podcast. Okay, I cannot see the button here because I'm doing screen sharing. Okay, let me just show you at the other screen. You will be coming to this part over here. Okay. Hang on, yeah. It's a bit challenging to do it like this. Okay. All right. Okay. So once you've created, then the name of the podcast will appear here, and then you can choose an image to be the thumbnail for the episode or for the episode for the podcast in the podcast. Okay. Then you just choose any. For example, I choose this one. Okay, it's not suitable. So let me take this one. Okay. Then click this one over here, download enable. Remember now in COVID-19 time, we need to make it accessible for the students in the easiest way. So make sure it's download enable and then publish. Then it will appear. Okay, done. So as easy as that. Okay, do we have any questions for Spreaker at this point in time? I'll answer questions on Spreaker first before I move on to other things.
Dr. Sharul,
Yeah.
can you explain the difference between public, private file again?
Come again? Sorry, come again?
Can you explain the difference between make it public or private or limited to?
Okay. If you make it public, sorry, let me just go back. Okay. If you make it public, then your students can just use the search box tadi tu. They can just go to your go to spreaker.com tadi tu. Let me show you the window again, supaya it's easy to understand. Okay, not this one. Okay. Hang on, Okay, this one. Okay. Spreaker ni, if you choose, hang on. Okay, if you choose to make it public, the students can search for you here in the search box. They can just type the name of that particular podcast. Okay, maybe Saman Pemula for mine just now. Okay, that it appears. Okay, but if you want to just limit this to just your students, then you can make it private. No, not private. The other options now. Okay, so you invite them. If you make it private, you have to invite them to join the podcast. So it will be limited only for them. Okay. Are there any other questions for this? For Spreaker?
Dr. Sharul,
Yeah.
boleh tak, can we like take the URL and copy it to our own Moodle and let the student access it through that?
Come again, sorry?
Can we copy the URL?
The URL?
Sorry, from the Spreaker, right? Okay, and then paste it in our Moodle, and then can the student access it from there? Is it accessible from our own Moodle?
Can, yes. Oh, yes. So what you mean to say is you want to give a link
Yeah.
to the students.
Yes.
But the link is given from your learning management system, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've actually called a friend yesterday, last night, from II. Are you from IIUM?
No. No.
Where are you from?
Uniza.
Uniza. Can. Does Uniza use Moodle as well as its learning management
Yeah.
system?
Yes,
Okay.
Moodle.
So if you use Moodle, definitely can. Okay, I'm pretty sure they have that function where you can actually add the link into your course. So you basically
Alright.
just take the link from from the podcast and put it in your learning management system for the students to access it over there.
Alright, thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheryl,
Yes.
Aiman here. Okay, so assuming that we don't use, some of us uses Google Classroom. So I suppose I'm looking at your screen that you're sharing now. That embed function here is where you can copy that and put it on the Google Classroom page, isn't it?
If
The
you
same,
want
the
it,
same method that we use when we want to invite people to go on Zoom and Google Meet. That's the way you invite the students to view the particular podcast, right?
okay, there is a difference between embedding something and sharing the link. So the easiest would be sharing the link. So if you just want to give the student a link to go into that particular podcast or anything, you just give the link. But if you want it to appear in your own website, for example, you embed the 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 thing that you want to embed lah. So you can use both actually. You can use both, but for embedding, you need to you can only embed if, let's say, that particular platform allows you to embed. But link is easier to share. You can just put the link, it's there. So you can use both. But if you want to use embedding, meaning make sure the platform allows you, there's a place for you to embed. Because embed usually it means like this. When you embed, it will not be just the link. They will give you the coding as well. So when you put it in your website, it will appear as though it is a part of the website rather than just the link.
So if you have a Google Classroom, for example, and you have students already accessing that Google Classroom, then you just cut and paste je lah kan? That URL to into the Google Classroom, and they'll be able to click on that and then view the podcast, listen to the podcast lah.
Yes,
right.
URL is easier. Okay, since Prof has asked a very good question, so I'm going to show something for those of you who are in the red category tadi tu. Okay, in case if you want to share a link, try to make it simple for the student. Don't just cut the link and paste the link. Usually the link is very long, so shorten the link by going to URL shortener. There are many free URL shortener. Okay, the one that I'm going to show you is called gg.com. So gg.gg, just type it in Google. Okay, so you go to URL shortener, gg.gg URL shortener. You put in your long link over here. Let's say, for example, I'll just take one here. All right, so this URL. So put it over here. It's very long. So before you press shorten the URL, make it even simpler for your students to remember the link, customize the link. So maybe, let's say for my subject, it's Tata Cara Civil. So I'm just going to put the code, UK 4063. Okay, so shorten. Yep, so if they were to click this link, they will be brought to this particular page over here. All right, so shorten the link for them. So if they want to type instead of clicking, maybe they open, you want to give it in your WhatsApp, but they want to open it in their laptop. So they look at your the link that you share in your WhatsApp. Okay, they can just type it back. Okay, here on top, gg.gg. Okay, /UUUK 4063. Alright, so enter. Yep, simple. Rather than you give them a long link, yeah. Okay, are there any other questions on Spreaker? If not, I'll move to Biteable.
Mizan, so Dr. Mizan, sorry.
Yes.
I noticed the Facebook icon. That one we can share in the Facebook, right? You go back to the podcast tadi.
Oh, okay. Podcast. Okay. This one.
This one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You use Facebook for your teaching. Okay, you can just share it here.
Okay. The same with Twitter.
Yes, yes. Okay. Any other questions?
Okay.
Dr. Mizan, I just have one question.
Okay.
I'm Aisha from UM. If you want to make the podcast private, do they have to like key in passcode or keyword or anything? If I want to make, like, I just want my students to hear. I don't want to make it public.
Okay. As I was telling in the beginning of the workshop, I can share things which I have done. And to be very frank with you, I'm not sure about that because I've never made it private for just my students because I fear the difficulty of them accessing the material. So we have to explore that. I've never made it private, so I don't really know how the private function works. Basically, I make it public. They can just find me in the episode. Maybe I can try it after this and I will share it with you in the Telegram group. Will that be okay, Aisha?
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay. Or better still, if there's anyone here who has used this before and resorted to this private function, can share. Anybody? No, eh? Okay, never mind. Yeah, Susie.
No, in case students want to access the podcast, do they need to sign up for this account or whatsoever?
Yes.
Like YouTube accessible to everyone, can
Yes,
Spreaker
yes.
need to sign up?
Yes, they have to sign up. Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? It's good for you to ask them to sign up because once they sign up, whatever podcast that they listen to, it will be listed in their account. So it's even easier for them to access the materials. Okay. Okay. So if there are no further questions, I'll move to Biteable. Some of you have used this before, so just bear with us. I'm trying to help those who are not very familiar with animation. Okay, so let's try Biteable. Apart from screencasting, I will not be going too much into screencasting because you are quite familiar with this. So let's try animation. Okay, it's just a drag and drop thing. Don't worry. Okay. The reason why I keep on reassuring is because in my workshops, usually people are scared when I say the word animation. Okay, so Biteable. So this thing will come out. So just go to this one over here, Biteable. Okay, so you can see this. Okay, make better videos than your competitors on your lunch break because it's very simple. Okay, so just sign up. Okay, if you don't have an account, I have an account, so I just log in. If you have a Google account, Biteable will allow you to actually sign up using your Google account. I think most IPTAs, their email is actually powered by Google. So you can just use that email. Okay? So I have many here because I've used that for open. After you have logged in, you will go to an empty page and you can press here, create a new video. So when you press create video, okay, it will bring you to this page over here. So decide on the purpose of your video first. I'm making a video too. Okay, I will not be going into this, yeah, okay, because I'm taking into consideration people who are not very IT savvy. So we'll not go to this one. Those of you who are IT savvy, you can actually explore here. Okay, I usually use this one, but for those of you who are not very savvy, so we can just go here. I'm making a video too. Let's say explain, because now we're talking about information, right? Okay, explain what a concept, find a template. So find you a template that you can use to deliver your class. Okay, so let's say you are interested in this particular template over here. It looks very professional, so you want this one. So edit this one. Okay. Okay, so it will bring you here. Hang on, yeah, I move my taskbar first so that you can see. Okay. Okay, if you look at the bottom of the screen that I'm sharing with you now, can you see that there are scenes? We call these scenes in Biteable. There are a list of scenes here. Okay, these scenes are the ones that make up the video. So these are the scenes. So what you need to do is you insert your content into the text box. Okay, for example, this one. what is it that you want to teach. Okay, maybe you want to say, what is originating summons? Okay, that's all. Okay, then you want to change the font. Maybe you want it to be something else. Okay, if you want to apply the font to all scenes, just click over here. Okay, if you want it to, because this is just one sentence, what is originating summons? So you don't want to waste time by making too much, but too long a video. So you want this to be short because it's a very simple sentence. So timing, change to short version. Okay, don't forget to press save, and you can see the preview here, how this particular scene is going to play out. Okay, it's taking some time because of the internet. Then move on to the next scene. Okay, the next scene, this scene has two boxes over here. So you can put your content over here, and you can also put your content over here. Note the number of characters allowed in the text box. Bytables, different animation maker will have different way, okay, different method. So Bytable, it doesn't allow you to actually put too many words in one scene, but what you can do is you have more scenes rather than more words in one scene. Okay, for example, it allows you only 80 characters for this search box over here and 80 characters for this search box over here. So if you want to put more words, have more scenes. Put it in the other scene that comes after this. So you add something here, say for example, whatever. Okay, then once again, press save. Okay, and you can see the duration of the whole video that is ready is here. It's 1 minute and 20 seconds. Yeah. Okay, so once you have done that, move on to the next scene. So you can just go on, okay, doing that for everything until the end of your video. So you can see until the end over here. Okay, and you can always delete a scene. Just look at my cursor. Can go to any scene. For example, this scene you want to delete. Okay, go to this arrow button over here. Click. Then you can just either delete, duplicate, or maybe, oh, I don't like the background of this scene, I want to switch. So you can just press switch scene. It'll bring you to other scenes that you can choose. And you want to see the scenes, for example, this category over here. You want to see how the scene looks like, just put your cursor you don't have to click, just put your cursor slowly. You can see, okay, this is how the scene is going to look like. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, so once you have chosen, let's say I choose this one, you can see that your scene will change. Yeah, all right. Let's say you want to delete, you can just press delete. Okay, or maybe you want to, for example, you do not have enough characters in this scene to tell everything that you want to tell about this one. So maybe you want to make it continuous in another scene. So what you can do is just duplicate. Okay, so the same scene will be used, but you can change the wording in the second scene. So the student will somehow understand that this is a continuation of information that you are imparting. So if let's say you want to move the scene, you can just click and drag. See, click and drag, click and drag. All right, so this is how you do the scenes in the timeline. After you have finished all your scene until the end, let's say this is the last one over here, you want to add, okay, add the last one. Let's say I choose this one over here, okay, and you want to say that's all for this topic. Okay, okay, then you press save and preview. Is everyone still here? I mean, like, am I going too fast? If you need me to slow down, please tell, yeah? I'm just worried. Okay, so you press save and preview. It will play the scene. Okay, so this is supposed to be at the end, so I'm going to move this towards the end. Okay, and after that, choose your color. If you are someone who loves decorating your video and make it more interesting and more beautiful, so you go into color and choose which one. Some people, they don't care about colors, so they just go to the next step. So for example, myself, I love colors, so I'll try this one, I'll try this one. Okay, I'm satisfied with the color now. So let's go to audio. You want to put music into the video, right? Okay, So if you look at this type of video, teaching video, your voice will not be there, okay? Your face will not be there, but your info will be there. And the students will hear music, for example, playing in the video. Like this one, say for example, we can test. Okay, you like this one, so choose this one, okay? And after you have chosen your audio, click preview, then you'll be brought to this page over here. So you just build your preview. This one takes a little bit long, all right? So once you have previewed your video, then you can share the link of that video with your students, okay? All right, so while waiting for this, does anybody have any questions on Biteable?
I have a question. In terms of size, this one is very small, isn't it? I mean, it's able to be shared easily. Student with limited, limited access, limited mobile data.
When we're talking about video will definitely be bigger in size in comparison to audio. So what you can do is you can put it up in YouTube, because usually YouTube will compress the video for you, and you can just give the link of the YouTube video to your students.
But I think YouTube also consume your data, isn't it? Because my students, they are quite, they don't want to access my YouTube because they said it's consume data. Is it true? Yeah.
True, very true. I mean, like, if this is what I was telling you in the beginning, you need to do your need analysis. If your students have the capabilities for you to do this, to use this, then can. All right. Otherwise, then maybe podcast or audio teaching is the way to go. All right. But another way to do it is you can also compress your video using free video compressor. It is available online, and there are two types that we can use. Let me just show you, yeah? Okay.
Okay.
Stop sharing. Let me just show you this. Okay. Oh, hang on. I'll just go here. All right. Need to move the taskbar first. Okay. Go to Handbrake. There's something called Handbrake. It's free. Okay. This one over here. Okay, but this is a little bit technical. I'm just worried for those who are in the red, pink, and
Dr. Sharul?
Yeah. Yes, Prof.
Go on ClipChamp.
Sorry, come again?
ClipChamp.
ClipChamp?
ClipChamp.
Is Prof, are you using iOS? Are you an Apple user? iPhone? No. ClipChamp. Yes, ClipChamp is one option, but I've never used it. But my colleague in FUU, Dr. Rizal, used that one. So
I've used it. To me, it's easier than Handbrake.
Sorry, come again? It's easier than Handbrake?
It's easier than Handbrake. It's Grab.
In terms of the function, it is easier than Handbrake. But when I use ClipChamp, I don't know, maybe it's my internet or my computer. At the end stage, the process of compressing is simpler than Handbrake tau. Tapi when I at the end when I want to compress and save the video it takes 3 hours for my laptop to do that. But I'm using the free version lah. So I'm not sure. But I mean everybody can try kot. Let me just
sure. Because I've got a 15 slide PowerPoint with audio recording on a PowerPoint video recorder. Which was 100 over. Then I compressed it. It came to 23.
Yeah. So Prof, how long did it take for you to compress the video at the end? Was it long?
Tak ada sampai 3 hours lah. Sekejap je. I mean, I have to go off from the screen lah, from the laptop kan. Tapi it wasn't that long lah.
Kan lah kalau macam tu.
My problem with Handbrake was dia punya steps tu lagi banyak daripada clip.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
I hand over to you.
So Apeni, thanks for sharing, Prof. That's very good sharing. So if you can actually use ClipChamp, you can. Actually, there are many sites like this. Another one is called Wondershare. But I always have problems with this free online platform, because whenever I try to do it, the processing, the downloading will take very long. Maybe my internet got. Tapi when I do it this one, because this one will require you to download the thing into your laptop. So I download this, So it's forever in my laptop. So whenever I want to use it, I don't rely on the internet so much. I basically just open the Handbrake tool in my own in my own computer. Okay, say for example, I go with this one. You just download. Once you have it in your computer, what you need to do is, okay, let me just show you how it looks like. I will stop sharing this one. I will share you how Handbrake looks like. Sorry, not this one. This one, yeah. Okay. Okay. There. This one. Can you see Handbrake here? So you basically just, this is how it looks like. You basically just select your source and then you can just compress it using here. Kalau macam tadi yang the clip champ tu boleh juga, tapi it's done online. Betul tak, Prof? Prof Aiman?
It's done online lah.
Yes, it's done online. Okay. I have a video tutorials for this in my YouTube channel. I introduced two basically video compressor online. Okay, but I do not want to go into these technicalities here. Okay. Are there any other questions on any biteable animation?
Handbrake tadi kan, actually I tried to use it last time tapi complicated, and then it says certain limited duration kan for the video. For example, video 20 minutes, you cannot compress. It has to be less than 10 minutes, certain duration.
Oh, I've never had that experience before with Handbrake.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it cannot be 30 minutes video, you make it shorter, it cannot be, isn't it? Or can you?
Oh, when you compress it compress the size of the video. It doesn't shorten the video.
Right, I'll try again now. Last time I tried, but it didn't work.
Okay, any other questions on biteable? No, eh? Okay, so I'll go now to hang on for a second. Okay, so we have covered podcast and animation video in biteable. So let's go back to this one over here. Okay, so I think everyone is familiar with Screencast-O-Matic, but I'll just touch and go just in case for those who are not familiar, because this is beginner's level. Okay, if you want to screencast yourself, you basically just have to go to any screencasting tool. The one that I usually like to use is Screencast-O-Matic, that's the name. Yeah, I also have video tutorial for this in my channel. So just go here, okay? You will come here, and if you are not logged in, you have to log into your account first. If you don't have an account, you have to create your account, okay? And, okay, you can straight away click here also pun boleh, okay? Okay, so once you are inside your account, there's two buttons at the top here. The screenshot button and also the launch recorder button. So for you to record yourself teaching using your slide, click the launch recorder button. Okay. The pop-up will come out. Okay. Click open screen recorder. Okay. So the screen recorder will open. Let me just move my taskbar. Okay, you will see that. Can you see the ni Hashim nampak tak the recording box tu?
Nampak tak?
Nampak eh? Okay, so you can see here the recording options for your video. So you can either record just the screen, whatever that appears on the screen will be recorded, or maybe you can just record webcam. Okay, I need to switch off my webcam in Zoom first for me to do this. Okay, because we are doing this macam apa ni, overlapping kan. Okay, so kalau you nak use, you want your face to appear in the screen recording as well, so you can just click webcam. Okay, then your face will appear. Okay, not the screen, maknanya you want to just record yourself giving lecture, so you can just press here, or if you want both, press both, so you will be appearing in this small box over here. Okay, and your screen, your slides will be appearing here. So you can just press record at the bottom of the recording box. You just press record and it will start recording. Okay, so let me try. Okay, so now it's starting to record. Okay, so now this is recording. Okay, once you have finished, just stop recording. Okay. Any questions on screencasting? Anybody? I think everybody is familiar with this kan tadi. Based on need analysis, I could see that most of you have tried this. Okay, so more or less this is how you do in Screencast-O-Matic, but you are open to use, you can always try other screencasting tool as well. For example, let me just show you on my screen. If you see my screen at the on top here, there's a small arrow over here. This is another screencasting tool. It's called Screencastify. It doesn't appear in all Windows. You have to add Screencastify into your as an add-on into your Chrome. Okay, but I will not go into that. So let's stay simple. The simplest one that I can share is Screencast-O-Matic. Okay, any questions so far? If there are no questions, I move on to the next part. Okay, so now, apart from sharing your video, this is asynchronous. So if you use asynchronous, meaning you can put your video on the platform and the students can actually access the video at any time. Okay, if you want to use synchronous approach, the ones that I think everyone likes to do because it resembles the actual face-to-face lecture that we have in our lecture halls is web conferencing. So you can use either Zoom, Microsoft Teams or Google Meet lah. The ones that we're using now is Zoom. So I think everyone is familiar with Zoom. But if you use Zoom, just make sure that you employ all the safety measures like what I have done with the workshop today. Make sure that they follow all the safety measures to make sure that it will not be hacked lah. Okay, so Microsoft Teams, I called a friend from IIUM yesterday to just double check because the biggest number of participants is from IIUM. She confirmed with me that IIUM is just like the FPTA, subscribed to Microsoft Office 365. So you can also use Microsoft Teams apart from Zoom and Google Meet. Let me just show you this. Okay. Okay. Just go to Google and type Microsoft Office 365. Okay. Let us be very simple. Just Microsoft Teams. Okay, Microsoft Teams. Okay, this thing will come out. You can just choose the one up here, Microsoft Teams. Okay. Then you can sign in using your university account. Okay. Okay. So I am already signed in. So you basically just sign in using your university account. This is how Microsoft Teams looks like. But Microsoft Teams has its pros and cons. Yeah? Some people do not like Microsoft Teams because they see there's too much going on here compared to Zoom, Google Meet, where it's just web conferencing. But Microsoft Teams is good in a sense that you can not just, it's not just limited for you to do web conferencing, you can even share notes and materials inside here. So everything can be done in one platform. For example, let's say these are my teams. With Microsoft Teams, you have to create the teams first. Okay, let me just close this one first. Okay, with Microsoft Teams, what you need to do is you need to create your teams first. Okay, teams. Look at the left-hand side. Click teams. Okay, so these are the teams that I have in my Microsoft Teams. Okay, but for you, maybe you have to create a team first, meaning your class lah. Create a team. So press create team. It will give you 4 options: class, professional learning, community, staff, and others. So maybe you click class. Okay, so just enter your class. For example, mine is civil procedure. Okay, then put description if you want to. Next. Okay, then you can add your students. For example, I add my student over here, okay? Because the university's email account for students also is powered by Microsoft Office. So you can find them in the list of students. So let's say I choose this one. This is my student. She's actually the class rep, so I will add her. Okay, let's say I have a teacher who teaches with me. Let's say since my dean is here, I'll put her in. So let's say this is the one, so add. Okay, so close. Okay, so these are the people in my team. So you can ask your class rep to add the rest of the class in, okay, because she's already a member of the team, so she'll add the rest of the class. Look at the bottom of the screen. Whenever you want to have a class with them, just choose this button over here, okay, meet now. So the video cam button, just press video cam button, okay, then you will come to this page over here. Okay, so you can just press meet now. Of course, my cam is off because I'm using my cam for Zoom now with you in the workshop. So just meet now. Okay, this is actually the class, the virtual class or the meeting session, the virtual meeting room. Okay, so if you can see, the taskbar is more or less the same like Zoom. Okay, if you want to start recording, just go here and press start recording. Okay. And this is to turn your camera on or mute or unmute your microphone. Okay, but the thing about Microsoft Teams is you have to remind your students not to press start recording as well. Because for Zoom and for WebEx, it actually confines the power or the authority to record only to the host. But for Microsoft Teams, anybody can record. So let's say, for example, I'm the teacher, I start recording. Let's say student A comes and press start recording as well. So my recording will stop and his recording will start from the point where my recording stopped. So with students, if you use this for classes, you must inform the student not to press start recording. But once you press start recording, it will record your class. And once you have finished your class, you basically just end the class by pressing this end meeting. There's a three dot button here. Press end meeting. Okay, so you end the meeting for everyone. Yes, end. Okay. Just it will bring you back to your team page, and you will see that the video will appear here actually. So anytime your students want to refer to the video, they can just go into their Microsoft Team account. They will go to your team, your class, and they will just watch all the videos there. For those of them who wants to repeat watching the virtual class that has been conducted. Okay, so are there any questions on Microsoft Teams so far? Any questions?
It's the same question. So students need to sign up, isn't it?
Yes, but if each IPTA, usually if they subscribe to Microsoft Teams, the lecturers and the students will have a Gmail account, sorry, not a Gmail account, they can use their university email account to actually go into this. They have to sign
so it's
up.
easier.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thanks.
The thing about Microsoft Teams is it's not a web conferencing tool, it's a collaborative working tools. So meaning that it's actually for the purpose of working, and one of the things that we have to do when we work together is we have to do meet. So we are using the meeting function in the collaborative working tool, opposed to web conferencing tools like Zoom and Google Meet. This is web conferencing. The purpose is to do web conferencing. But for Microsoft Teams, it's more of working together. So you can add more things inside. But just to give you the pros and cons, some students said that Microsoft Teams is a bit difficult to access because it's quite heavy. But the good thing is it's free because IPTAs are all using this. In fact, actually the Majlis E-Pembelajaran Negara (MEPTA) actually endorses this to be the main platform for for teaching and learning in all IPTAs. Okay,
it's for synchronous, isn't it?
For synchronous, yes, for synchronous. But as I was saying just now, before you want to go synchronous, you should be asking yourself the same question that I showed just now lah. Kalau if you do not need all these things, you do not need to engage the students, you do not need real-time responses, you might as well just go asynchronous. The same question that I showed just now lah. Kalau if you do not need all these things, you do not need to engage the students, you do not need real-time responses, you might as well just go asynchronous. Okay. Other than that, we can also teach using WhatsApp or Telegram. Okay. Can I just ask this question? Does anybody have the experience of teaching using WhatsApp in this group? Anybody? No? Do you think it's okay to use WhatsApp in group? In online teaching? Yes, anybody?
I did not teach using WhatsApp per se, but I have classroom group. Different groups for different subjects. Is that considered as teaching as well? But that is where I give instruction, but they have to refer to the LMS.
Yes, meaning you are combining WhatsApp as a teaching tool together with your LMS, right? Yep, that's
what I did.
Yeah, okay. But the thing about WhatsApp is it's a social media tool. It's for socializing online. So if you are not careful, it becomes very disorganized. Your class will become all over the place. So how to make it organized in WhatsApp? I'll be sharing that a bit. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go to your WhatsApp. Let me just try and open my WhatsApp web. Okay. I have a video tutorials for this in my YouTube channel as well. So if you want to teach using WhatsApp, what you need to do is create a special WhatsApp, not for the class now. Create a special WhatsApp just for yourself. It's a WhatsApp group, bukan WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp group for yourself. Meaning you create a WhatsApp group, you add a good friend yang tak kisah untuk di-add kan. So you just basically create a group with you and that person. Okay, once that group is created, maybe you can call it your rough pad ke ataupun your notepad ke ataupun your prep your prep preparations group ke. So you basically add that person because to create a WhatsApp group you have to kejap ya, I stop sharing dulu. To create a WhatsApp group you need another person kan. So you just add another person, create a group, okay. Lepas tu you keluarkan that person, you take that person out of the group. So the group will be just you. Okay, I'll just show you my prep group. Yeah. It's still loading. What is the purpose of doing this sebenarnya? The purpose basically is for you to have a place where you can structure your learning materials before you share them in the group where you have all the students there. Sometimes when you want to talk in WhatsApp, okay, you just say Assalamualaikum, today we're going to have a class. Before you manage to say anything else, students say, oh, yes, madam, Waalaikumsalam, madam. Then if you have 120 students, all 120 students will be talking before you can put the next part of the learning material. So it becomes very disorganized. So that's why what you need to do is you create a group first, okay, add a friend who's okay to be added, and then take that person out. So you'll be just you inside. So draft all your learning materials, upload all your teaching materials into that group first, and then you just forward to the group with the students, with all your students in. Am I making sense ke? Faham tak? Risau je tak boleh tunjuk jadi confused. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did. I did that actually. Yeah.
If you want to use WhatsApp, that's what you need to do lah. Okay, macam ni contoh Okay, so this is my WhatsApp. Okay, ada information yang rahsia tak ada. Okay, so this is my preparation group. Okay, you can see. Okay, so this is what I use. You can see in the group is just me over here. Okay, and this is how I do it lah. So basically, let me just move my taskbar a bit. Okay, so let's say I want to say Assalamualaikum. Okay, hi students. Okay, today we're going to learn about what? Okay, enter. So it won't go to the students, it will just go into this group. So it's like my rough pad. Okay, then I upload something. For example, I want to upload my teaching slides, for example. So I just click over here, like we share slides in group, okay? So we just click document, then it goes to the document that I want to share. Just choose, then it will be uploaded here. At the end of it, so what we do is just forward je lah. We forward the message to the group. For my class group is this one. So So this is my class group. So basically we just forward this. You can see there are 129 students. So if apa ni, we don't do this, when we say something in the WhatsApp group, it will become very disorganized. Okay, that's all about WhatsApp lah basically. How you teach is very simple. You just screenshot your slide ataupun you can share your slide into the apa ni prep group that you created just for yourself tu. Just upload tu using this upload function. I think everyone is familiar with WhatsApp kan. So just upload it here and then if you want to explain, just use the apa ni recording audio function. But remember it will not be very long tau. Okay. So there's a microphone button kan dekat sini. So you just click and say, okay, Assalamualaikum. So based on the first slide that I've shown above, katakanlah before this, let's say before this there's a slide over here that you have uploaded. So based on the slide that I have shown, I want to explain that whatever, lepas tu you press. So the student will be looking at the slide first and then they will be listening to your explanation. Then once everything is ready, you click everything semua, you click everything and forward all of the materials together in one shot to the group where you have all the other students. Okay, so that's WhatsApp. And
okay, Mizan?
Yes.
For audio, how long it can last for under WhatsApp?
Not very long. Not very long. Let's try. Let's do it together. Okay. Okay. Let's say because I've had the experience of talking alone because I thought it's still recording. Rupa-rupanya it stops. If it exceeds the time, it will stop. Okay. Like let's say this one. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, it's about 15 minutes. To be safe, 10 minutes.
10 minutes only?
It's not very long.
To be safe, 10 minutes. But you can go up to 12 minutes. 15 is the max.
Okay.
And I think this is the simplest and the student, there's no need a high internet connection, right?
Yes. Based on my experience during the because in UKM masa tu when the COVID-19 crisis start, the university gives a very long mid-semester break for the students. So I asked the student whether they want to continue with learning online or they want to take the holiday because my dean said to me if the students agree then you can continue with some revision activities. So I did my revision activities using WhatsApp and the feedback from the students was, Doctor, this is very good because we can just it doesn't need a lot of data, internet data. It doesn't require high bandwidth, so we can just contribute in the learning process just simple like this. So this is something that you can use. So the way how to do it, the steps, I'm sorry I can't show this, okay, but the step is number one, create your own group. Okay, to create a group, you must have another person who's willing to be the person to be taken out after the group has been created. Just create the group, take that person out, so that group will be yours. Okay. Make sure that you also have a WhatsApp group with the students. So you use the group that you are that is just for you. Can upload your slide. After you have uploaded your slides, you can either screenshot the slide or you can upload the slide. Okay, screenshot is better. Let's say slide number 3. You screenshot the slide, upload it, and just record your voice explaining that slide. Then move on to the next slide. Do it in the group first, in the preparation group first. At the end, after you have uploaded everything, write your proper instruction, everything, forward the whole thing to the group, the WhatsApp group with the students. So that's the step.
So I think this is the simplest and convenient for me and the students. But it doesn't look very posh like that. All this while we'll be exposing to all those big things which is not familiar with.
Yeah.
What do you think? WhatsApp is, I think for me, it's the most suitable. Taking the fact that because the students are having problem with the internet connection, but it doesn't look posh though. What do you think? What's your comment?
My comment is, I think you have raised a very good question, Prof. Because whenever I give workshops, in fact, for this during this COVID crisis, I've conducted 6 online learning workshops. That is a very popular question. I don't feel like I'm teaching when I use WhatsApp. It doesn't feel like a class, but it is actually a learning experience because when you because the education 4.0 is when you actually the line between teaching and learning and also socializing online is actually blurred a bit. So it is actually a learning process. Learning doesn't mean you learn from just the teacher, right? So it means that socializing, because when you use WhatsApp, okay, you might be providing them with the slide, the screenshot of the slide, the audio recording, but once you put it in WhatsApp, there will be also peer learning happening, meaning they will be learning from each other in the WhatsApp. Some people will give opinion, some people will answer questions that you asked in the WhatsApp, and everybody else will be reading the question and the answer. So the learning can happen that way. It doesn't have to be posh as long as the learning happens. Sometimes we are too busy to this is something that I've learned from my mentor, Prof. Dato' Amin. He said sometimes we are too busy to teach that we don't make learning happen. So as long as the learning happens, it's fine. But this is my personal opinion. I mean, anybody can have theirs. Okay, any other questions on WhatsApp?
If I may share, I think WhatsApp, I usually use WhatsApp because I usually have like a WhatsApp group with students for every class that I handle. So in the event that they have so much trouble in Microsoft Teams or whatever platform that I use, I will still resort to WhatsApp. That is like the last resort lah kalau macam tak boleh sangat, but it always work. WhatsApp always work, and I think at some point student pun akan lagi prefer fast communication. Kalau nak dapat cepat jawapan, it's WhatsApp. So I think WhatsApp tu perlu juga ada, tapi kalau yang means lain fall, then WhatsApp is one of the way lah. And one more thing that I would like to share, kalau kita guna Microsoft Teams, because I was made to understand by my student that ada yang dekat Sabah Sarawak yang dia punya timing nak view apa-apa video ke internet connection dia pukul 3, pukul 4 pagi baru okay. Tapi kalau guna Microsoft Teams and dia record the streaming, they are able to watch it later. And then dia tak perlu kita macam pergi link lain macam tu. It's just all in one. Itu salah satu benefit of using Microsoft Teams lah. But WhatsApp to me, I still need it and I use it heavily also.
Yes. Actually, that's very good. That's very true, Aisha, because Microsoft Teams is a collaborative working tool. So whatever that meetings or classes that you that you hold in that particular team, the recordings will be there in the chat, in the chat section though. So any students who miss the class can always go back to the recordings and just play it, and then they can see what has happened in the class lah. All right. You can always combine WhatsApp with other things. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Okay. So far we have only covered we have not been able to cover much, okay, because we're trying to go very slow. Okay, this is if you are doing informative ataupun informative lecturing approach. If let's say for example you want to go and use, I just show you another approach. If you need to use instructive approach for practical papers, okay, this is for practical papers. Okay, if you want to use instructive lecturing approach, again, the same questions that you have to ask. Does the students have unlimited Wi-Fi? Do you want to engage the students? Do you need real-time responses for the students? Okay, if you use asynchronous approach, meaning the students will be accessing the learning materials at their own time. Okay, usually for law, because we're talking about law today, right? For law, usually you will be using instructive approach if you want to, for example, as I'm showing on the screen, if you want to demonstrate the format or anatomy of a legal document, for example, those teaching legal methods would want to show the anatomy of a case report, kan? So you want to show to the students rather than you just talking, okay? If you do it synchronously via Zoom ke via Google Meet, you can screen share and show whatever things that you have on your screen to the students. But if you do it asynchronously, how do you do that? Okay, you can use image annotation. Teaching civil procedure like myself, we have lots of court documents that we need to show the students because the format is very important for court documents, right? For compulsory modes, for example, you need to demonstrate advocacy skills. So these are some things that you have to show rather than just, you talking or you putting up text in your slides and whatnot. So I will show you one thing. It's called Image Annotator in classtools.net. For this, I'll be sharing with you a link which you can try opening. Okay. Hashim. Okay. Okay. I've prepared this just now. Okay, so this is something that I've already prepared. I'll be opening it here. Okay. Okay, this is an example of what I used in my class for using image annotator, because I need to teach them online, okay, how to draft a read of summons. So they need to know the anatomy of a read of summons. So I use this image annotator. So what happens is if the student press this red button over here, then explanation about that part will come out. So this is the case number, it will be assigned by the courts registry. Okay, if let's say for example, this part over here press, okay, this is the name of the plaintiff. Okay, then you give explanation, okay, and maybe there's a case that you want the students to refer pertaining to this particular legal issue, so you put a link to a case, for example. So once the student press that, they'll be brought over to the case itself, for example this case over here. Okay, so maybe this case decides on issues pertaining to this particular matter over here, this particular component or this particular part format in the read of summons. Okay, this is how it works. Okay, how to do this? Okay, let me show you. We'll go to Google. Paling simple, semua class tool.net. Okay, so this thing will come out. Okay, just choose this one over here, classtools.net, free tool for teachers and students. There are many things inside this website that I love so much. Okay, and definitely it's fun, it's free. We will be exploring this more in the next session for tutorial activities, but for lectures, you can also use this image annotator function over here. Everyone okay ke? Ha?
Okay.
Dah 2 jam tau ni. Tak risau sangat. Read zone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's taking some time to load lah. Sebab I buka banyak sangat window kan. Sekejap. Sementara tu kalau ada apa-apa soalan, I can try to answer. Hashim, ada apa-apa tak soalan in the chat section? Yeah, alright.
Dr. Syarul, if I may ask, image annotator ni you boleh apply to documents yang PDF juga ke?
Yes, mine is PDF document. Tapi,
So you tukarkan jadi image juga ke?
Yeah, you have to change it to because it's an image annotator. So let's say for example like mine just now, okay, like this one, mine kan. This is an image actually in a PDF document. I convert the PDF document. It's not very difficult to do this. Let's say you have a Microsoft Word document in your Microsoft Word. When you save the document, okay, for those of you who are beginners lah, you just save it in JPEG format. So it becomes an image. So you can just upload it here. So you go, this is classtools.net. You can see so many fun things here, okay, that you can use. I usually use many things here lah. Okay, so this is the image annotator. Go this one, go to image annotator, just click. Okay, so 2 steps only. You just upload an image. Okay, so once you click upload image, then you will see this button at the bottom. Boleh nampak tak, Shim? Just upload your image. Okay, say for example, I upload this one over here. Okay, so this is the image, and then you want to explain this particular part over here. Say for example, you want to explain this component, for example. So you can just click, okay, then it will pop up, the box where you can put in the description pop up. Say for example, you want to put something here, and then explain blah blah blah, okay. And then if there's a case or any website that you want them to refer on this particular thing, you can just enter www. Let's say I just put google.com. Okay, then done. Okay, of course invalid URL lah sebab Google kan. So kalau ada letak, kalau tak ada just done. So it's there. So bila student klik, akan keluar apa yang kita dah buat tu. Alright. So this is image annotator. Once you have done this, it's finished. Okay. Just click save. The save button is down here. It will require a password. Sebab this is a free site. So many people are using the tool. So what you can do is just put in a password, any password. Okay. Let's say I put Mizan. Okay. This is my password. So I click OK. So once I've entered the password and click OK, then I will be brought to this pop-up over here. It says successfully save your template will now be loaded at the following unique address. Be sure to make a note of it. So you just basically copy paste the link ni dan bagi dekat student, like the one that I give you in the Telegram group too. Okay, that's for image annotator. Any question on image annotator? This is useful for those who are teaching things that has to be demonstrated or has to be shown. Any question? Ada tak apa-apa nak tanya? Tak ada eh? Okay, so if you don't have any questions for the image annotator, we'll go back to the apa yang tadi kat sini tu. So when you use asynchronous approach for instructive lecturing, you want to demonstrate something. If it's a document like this, you can use image annotator. If you want to demonstrate advocacy skills, what you can do is you can use Padlet. Okay, I could see just now in the need analysis when I did the need analysis at the beginning of the workshop. Some of you are very familiar with Padlet kan? So let's try. But the one that you have to use for instructive lecturing, you have to use the grid function. Okay, this is my Padlet. Okay. Okay, let's say I want to create a Padlet. So, boleh ke? Alamak, I takut pula kalau dia tertinggal. So let's go back to Google. Okay, for those of you who are terlambat sikit kan. So go to Google, type Padlet. Okay. Dia keluar kat sini. So you basically just click on this one over here. Brings you in. If you have not had an account, you need to create an account, sign up for an account. Okay. Once you have entered your Padlet dashboard, so there are 4 options at the top: make a Padlet, join a Padlet, gallery, and upgrade. So you choose make a Padlet. Okay. This is asynchronous, yeah. Asynchronous meaning the students access the material at their own pace. Okay. So hang on, yeah, because I've used all my So let's just delete one. Okay. So I'm just going to delete this one. Make a Padlet. Okay, so we want to make a Padlet. There are many types of layout. So if you want to do instructive lecturing means that you need to show steps to the strict process, for example. So if you need to do that, for example, you want to show advocacy skills. First, you have to greet the judge. You have to say something like dengan izin mahkamah, whatever. You want to illustrate. After you have said that, lay down your structure of submission. Okay, we have 3 submissions. So you want to do this in stages. So what you need to do is you want to share videos with the student, but the videos must be arranged in such a way that the students understand that there are sequences to the video. So when you want to create your Padlet, don't choose wall, canvas, stream, grid semua ni. Choose this one over here, shelf. So once you choose shelf, okay, click shelf. Okay, let's say for example, you want to change the name of the Padlet title. Okay, nampak ke where I went to just now? Okay, this is your Padlet. You want to change the title, go here. There's a setting button. Modify pop-up will come up. Press. Okay, change the title. For example, compulsory mode. Aliza, are you here? Compulsory modes. Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Subjek kau kan. Okay, so compulsory modes. Lepas tu description. Maybe you can say how to present orally. Okay. So, okay, alright. Then you can change things here. Wallpaper, you want to choose something else. Let's say you want to choose this one here. You want to make it a bit formal. Okay. Then after you have changed your wallpaper, then you can change things over here lah. You can explore this. Okay. Allow viewers to comment on posts, switch it on so that they can watch your video, your demonstration, and then they can ask you questions in the comment for each of the video. Okay. And if you are fun, you can just click here where they can also grade your video. Okay, they want to upvote, downvote, or they want to give you a star, for example. Okay, so do that. Okay, and just click save. So let's say this is the compulsory modes Padlet. So maybe you want to write here how to Alisa, what do you call apa ni, the thing that you tell the students how to actually to start the panggil apa, welcoming remarks ke apa benda? Not been teaching compulsory modes for quite some time, so I don't actually remember this in English.
Yes, opening remarks, yes.
Opening remarks. Okay, so how to do opening remarks. Okay, so what you can do is you can just put that one here, and then after opening remarks, Aliza, how to?
Opening remarks are opening speech,
Okay.
and then what comes next, is it?
Yeah.
How to present, yes, structure of submissions.
Okay, so maybe you can whatever lah. After that, how do you explain your submission? Okay, then how do you, because this is instructive lecturing, so it has to be done in sequence, in stages. So how do you conclude your submission, for example lah? Maybe there are more steps, but I'm just apa ni showing. So what you can do is just put the video at this part of here. So when you press the plus button, it will give you the title, example of opening remarks, for example. Okay, so have an explanation, blah, 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 whatever. Just write it over here. And then for videos, click the 3 dots button over here. You can either put in a link of any YouTube video that explains about opening remarks. You don't have to do your own video. As long as it's on YouTube, it's free, okay? And you are not making money out of it. So basically, you just put the link and the student can look at the sample. Otherwise, for example, let's say I have mine, I think. Let me just show you. Yep, okay. Okay, see there are 3 channels. So I'm choosing the one here. Okay, so you can take video from YouTube. It's your own video or somebody else's video that you can use. So mine is actually here. So I have this video over here. Okay, so this is the first part of how you're supposed to present in court, for example. So you can just click the link, okay, and go to your Padlet, enter the link, okay, save. This is how you are supposed to do opening remarks. Let's say lah, Okay, so the students can watch this. After they watch this, then the next video is on. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is the first step. Okay, then the next one, okay, let's say this is the one. Copy the video URL, go to the Padlet. So next one is this one. So they can look at it. They are looking at the video. You are actually lecturing in a way you are teaching them, but according to steps. It doesn't have to be video like what I'm using now. this is a demonstration video. It could be just a video of you explaining. You can just record yourself explaining, but you do it in stages like this. All right? Okay. So you just continue until the end. So the students can give comments here. They can ask questions at the bottom of each video. Okay. Any questions up to this point for this one? Ada tak apa-apa soalan nak tanya? So for Padlet, there are many views tau you can actually use. Tapi if you are using instructive lecturing approach, then this is the layout that is most suitable because you can see things in stages and phases. Yeah. Okay. So that is
How about if you just want to have a comment? I mean, sort of they have their reflection on a topic that we gave, and we wanted to use Padlet. Which one would you suggest instead of the one that you suggest?
Meaning, okay. One thing, okay, there are many ways of doing this. Okay, for example, they watch your video. So for example, they watch this video and they have questions. They can ask over here, right? So they ask over here and you can answer the questions. Everybody in the class can read the questions and the answers, so they learn from that as well. The one that Dr. Sham was talking about just now is another function where you can just actually ask them to do a reflection, or maybe you can just ask them to do a sample of their own opening remarks. For example, they can just press a plus button over here. They can follow your examples and they can just, record themselves. They can do this. Okay, for example, let me just show you. If the students want to record themselves, okay, we'll use this column lah because it's clear sikit kan. So they can just go to this 3-dot button and they can just record this one. Press film, capture a video, camera will start. Of course, my camera will not start because I'm using the camera for this workshop lah. So the camera will start, it will record, and they can just straight away, follow your examples for the opening remarks and they can just present. And then once they click done, okay, their video will appear here underneath your sample. Is that answering the question, Dr. Sham? Is that what you meant?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can either ask them to do a reflection, like what Dr. Sham has said, meaning they watch your video and then they give their opinion in terms of their own video. Or maybe they can just give an audio. 3 button again, can also just record a voice. They can just record their voice, meaning if their bandwidth is low, so they don't want to do any video recording, they can just record their voice. Okay, doctor, I watched the video. I think, right, I don't understand this and this. Or I want to give comment. I think it should be like this. So they just record their voice over here. Okay, press the microphone button over here. Okay, then it will record. And once it's done, it will be saved. It will appear in the post after you see, becomes like that. So if they comment underneath your video, it will appear like this, but as the next post under this particular column over here. Okay, any other questions that you want to ask? So
I have one question.
Yes.
Sorry, because I haven't used Padlet in a long time. So let's say if I want to do, this is instructive learning and I want to do a lot of cross-referencing, maksudnya for each of the subtopic tu kan. For example, just how to present structure of submission, I want to put video there, also reading materials there, and then also, additional info macam what are submissions, what are arguments, blah blah blah. So for Padlet, everything akan appear just on this one page macam ni lah. I just plus kat bawah macam tu.
Yes, betul? Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So once you add a lot, you see nanti kalau once you add something, you can see the scroll bar coming up.
Okay,
so
perfect.
When you add a lot, they can just scroll down to find the things that they need to find lah. If you want them to just refer, macam tadi Dr. Sham has given us a different scenario whereby you want the students to put something in after watching your video kan, but you just want them to refer because you don't want them to mess up the whole thing. So it becomes very confusing. Katakanlah macam tu. So what you need to do is control at the setting, make sure that you don't allow them to give to actually add opinion. Basically macam bila mana dia dekat sharing tu rasanya. Okay, dekat sini Mana dia? Dia ada, you boleh control dia. Visitors can write. This one ni. You can actually control tau. Whether they can actually write ataupun they can just read. So kalau you nak macam tu, nak letak benda je, you want to just use this as a repository for them to refer things, you just put can read only. So they can just read je lah. They cannot add their own reflection. But they can comment. But they cannot post their own video or post their audio and whatnot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Tak ada?
Is there any limitation to the header, like macam how to do opening thing kan, dia tambah ke tepi. Ada limitation or we can just
Jom kita try. Okay. Okay, kita try. Enter. Sebab I pernah try sampai 8 kot rasanya. Dia boleh tapi you gerakkan je scroll ni. Macam tu. Lagi. Boleh lagi so far? Lagi. Lagi. Maknanya macam boleh lah kot
boleh lah kot, maksudnya kita tak perlu confine satu macam subtopic untuk satu Padlet. We can use like one Padlet for one topic lah kan.
Boleh.
Okay.
I selalunya but usually people when they use Padlet, most people when they use Padlet, they will use the apa ni orang kata, the wall layout ni. Betul tak? Kan? Semua orang selalu guna layout macam ni kan. Kalau layout macam ni, it will appear like this. Nanti dia akan jadi macam banyak-banyak lah. Kalau ni kita nak guna for, if you want to use this for brainstorming, it's fine. Brainstorming, ask them to share their ideas and whatnot, so everything will come out. You can also use Padlet for class attendance purposes, yeah. So basically just ask them to go to the Padlet and ask them to take photo of themselves there and then. Boleh juga. It can be used for attendance purposes. Because for my class, I use it for attendance. Masa we have face-to-face class before COVID-19 crisis, so I usually open my Padlet in front of the lecture hall. I say to everyone, okay, now please just take a photo of yourself. So this will be attendance lah. Okay, any other questions on this? Any questions? So we are still in instructive lecturing approach. Okay, so we have looked into the tools to do asynchronous approach. Okay, there's another one that you can also use still in Padlet if it's a process. For example, you can still in Padlet. Kejap. Okay, tadi ni Padlet kan? Okay, if it's a process, then kejap I delete dulu this one yang sample tu. You can also use this one tau. Let's just change this. Okay, rather than using the shelf layout tadi, go back to the setting ni, change the layout to something else. Sekejap ya. Mana benda lah tu. I pun dah macam terlupa dah. Ni, change format. So you go to the 3 dots button over here, change the format. If it's a process, because instructive lecturing ni, sometimes you want the students to do it step by step, right? So you can use timeline as well. So it becomes like this lah. There. So Aliza and anybody else who are teaching macam advocacy skills, so maybe you can do it like this. First step is this, second step is this. So you want to add the next step, so you add another video, then the next step after that. So the students see it in the timeline layout like this. Okay. Okay. Any questions up to this point? We've been on for 2 hours and a half. We have about 20 minutes more to go. Anybody? Nak tengok muka semua orang lah. Semua orang sihat lagi tak? Sampai sikit. Kak Shanas. I'm just worried for those who are not very familiar with Kak Yana. Kenapa nama Diana?
Account Google lain. Email lain.
Okay. Okay, anybody wants to ask any question? I'm just worried for those yang beginners tau. So kalau I was trying to go as slow as possible, but if it was too fast, you need me to repeat anything, just tell me ya. Anything? Tak ada eh? So kalau tak ada, will go to the apa ni? Tadi I dah explain, if you want to use apa ni real time apart from using synchronous, because just now I've shown you synchronous kan, for asynchronous, for instructive lecturing approach. For synchronous, very easy, because if you use web conferencing, focus on the screen share function lah. If you use instructive approach, meaning you need to show something. So basically you will use the screen share function like what I'm using now lah. Show the document and point out to the parts that they need to understand, and then make sure they understand like that. So it's a synchronous approach using screen share function in web conferencing. If you are using real-time chat, tadi yang I dah explain, you can use WhatsApp plus YouTube. Meaning you go to your one-man group tu, your class preparation WhatsApp group tu, you can just upload all the video from YouTube that you have made according to steps, and you arrange the videos according to stages like what you did in Padlet, but now you do it in your one-man group in your WhatsApp and forward the whole thing in that order to your group WhatsApp with the students. Yeah. Okay, the last one that I want to show you for synchronous approach for instructive lecturing, it's called Nearpod. Okay, I wanted to show you this. Hashim, can we screen share that thing? Yeah. Okay, let me just show you how to go to Nearpod. Nearpod is like this, yeah. The concept is very much similar to, do you remember the Mentimeter just now that we used for the survey tadi tu? What you will be noticing in Mentimeter is that, or what you might have noticed in Mentimeter is that the lecturer is controlling the time slides. Maksudnya the slides are there, but once the lecturer move to the next slide, then all the slides in your smartphones will also move. Betul tak? Can somebody say something?
Betul. Yes, betul, faham.
The downside of doing synchronous teaching online lah kan. Tapi kalau you use Microsoft Teams and Google Meet without the add-on, lagilah you hanya nampak the 4 people tu je. Tak nampak the whole class. Kalau Zoom you nampak, at least nampak lah the whole class kan. Okay, so Nearpod is also something like that. Okay, something like that juga. Okay, this is Nearpod. Cumanya what is good about Nearpod is, kalau macam tadi tu, the Mentimeter app tu, you can only put up slides that has questions like the ones that I'm using, or maybe slides that have text or image. But if you are doing instructive lecturing, sometimes you want to show the students not just image or text, but you want to show video. So Nearpod allows you to do that. For example, let's say you create a lesson in Nearpod. Okay, once you click here, okay, you add slide. It gives you the same function like Mentimeter. You control the movement of the slide. So it's real time. It doesn't have to be web conferencing. You can do it via WhatsApp. You can tell your students, okay, students, I'm going to teach you via Nearpod today. I'm going to share with you the slide. So you just move the slide using your phone, but all the slides in all the students' phone who are in this lesson will also move at the same time. So the only difference between Mentimeter and Nearpod, which makes the reason why I want to show you this, is it allows you to add video. So let's say you go for slide, I tak boleh because I can upgrade. If you go for this one, you will be able to add video here. See, you can add video in. So you just upload your teaching video, or you can search video in YouTube here. You can just type anything over here and the video will come out and it will appear as a slide. For example, how to, just let's say how to. Okay, so you can, let's say you choose this, how to properly wash dishes. Save. So it will appear. So next slide, you can still show video. Okay, go to video again. How to clean house. for example. Okay, it's azan, so we'll just take a short break until the azan is over. Okay, so we continue. So I'll just show you the screen. So once you have created your lessons kan in Nearpod, so what you need to do is macam ni kan. These are all lessons that I've created for my class lah. Okay, let's say this one over here. There are two options. You can go asynchronous. If you go student pace, meaning the students can access the material at their own time, asynchronous. But now since we're talking about instructive lecturing approach using synchronous method, so we go live lesson. So when we go live lesson, we press live. Okay, it will open to the lesson and the class code will appear on top. Okay, so the class code will appear like this. Hashim, can you share the screen? Comelnya kucing Kak Su. Okay.
Doktor, stop sharing dulu.
Okay, saya stop sharing. Okay, so what Hashim is showing is a side-by-side screen. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, this screen is the teacher screen. I'm showing you screen like you imagine that this is your laptop, this is the teacher's laptop. Okay, ataupun this is the teacher's phone. Okay, and this is the student's phone or the student's screen. So they can join your lesson by going here. Students join a lesson, enter a code. So for example, just now, the code is, let's say, I will request remote control from Hashim. Okay, so that I can control the screen. Okay, let's say this one over here. Okay. Okay, yang tadi tu yang ada it's slow sikit, it lags a bit because I'm controlling Hashim's screen actually at the moment. This is also a function that you can use in your Zoom class. If you use Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meet, you can request remote control. Students can request remote control from you. You can control their screen, they can control your screen. It's good for collaborative group work online. Okay, so let's say this is the lesson just now. Okay, I'm making it live lesson. Okay, so the code is coming out. So this is the lecturer's screen. Okay, so what you can do is give this code to the student in WhatsApp maybe, or maybe in email ke apa, up to you. So they just type A, Q, G, U, sekejap ya, A, J, enter. So they will be entering the lesson, and you can see what they see on their screen is okay, they have to enter their name. Let's say Mizan, join session. Okay. Okay. So once you play the video, sorry ya. Slow sikit it lags a bit because I'm controlling Hashim's monitor screen, sorry. Okay. So if you move in your screen, you also move in the student screen. Okay, so you play the video. Once you play the video here,
States legally are the duty bearers when it comes to guaranteeing human rights. States concurrently are the duty bearers when it comes to guaranteeing human rights. Violate human rights. The state is the only when we talk about the state legally, this includes violate state organs and representatives. When we talk about the state, the judicial power includes all state organs and representatives. The legislative power, for example, chambers of parliament, the judicial power, members of parliament, judges, and the executive power, the legislative power, police forces, chambers of parliament, ministries, members of parliament, military forces power, state representatives on the local ministries and ministers, military forces, as well as all persons, state representatives on the local level for certain tasks. For example, as well as all persons who have been vested with state authority or emissions by these organs, for example, in their official capacity, are attributed to the state or emissions by these organs in their official capacity are attributed under human rights law, making the state has obligations to set a framework for conduct under that enables people's enjoyment of their rights. Obligations to set a framework for conduct negative that enables people's enjoyment of their rights. Negative we differentiate negative obligations to respect human rights, obligations to not unduly interfere in human rights. Oblige the state to respect human rights. An example would be to not obligation of the state to refrain from torturing an individual. An example would be respecting the prohibition of the state to refrain from torturing an individual or respecting the prohibition of torture, positive duties, and inhumane or degrading treatment to protect human rights, and to fulfill human rights. Oblige in both cases to protect the human rights needs to become and to fulfill human rights in order to live up into its human rights obligations. The state needs to become active. We talk about the obligation to protect human rights obligations. When we refer to the obligation of a state, we talk about to take necessary measures to prevent. When we refer to the obligation of a state by taking necessary measures, individuals to prevent private businesses human rights abuses that means by private actors. When one private actor is negatively impacting the enjoyment of a human right, when one private actor is negatively impacting the enjoyment of a human right to intervene, if the physical integrity of one person, the state has the obligation to intervene. If the physical integrity of one person, this would probably be threatened by another private person actively intervene in this case and protecting the right probably be a physical integrity of the person intervening and protecting the right obligation to integrity of when we refer to the obligation of a state, we talk about the obligation to fulfill and structural measures when we refer to the obligation of realize human rights to implement general positive structural measures to facilitate the enjoyment of human rights. To take this positive action, for example, to facilitate the enjoyment of human rights, a functioning court system includes that is able to guarantee the right to a fair trial, a functioning or the duty to adopt laws that is able to guarantee the right to a fair trial, protecting the right to property, or the duty to adopt laws by private persons, criminalizing theft, to establish an educational system abuse that allows for the realization of the right to establish an educational system that allows for the realization of the right to education, positive obligations, etc. Most rights entail negative as well as positive obligations.
After watching the video, you click Add Activity. So you can choose any of these activities over here, quiz or open-ended question, or you can go to Flipgrid. Flipgrid is another method that I used to teach advocacy, but this one I'll be covering in the next tutorials lah, where students can actually record themselves following your samples. Okay, so you can just choose whatever activity that you want. So you are right, it's a real-time engagement compared to Padlet tadi, because Padlet tadi asynchronous. Maksudnya they respond, tapi they respond at their own time. This one is responding there and then, as how you wanted in synchronous learning lah.
Yes, especially if you teach advocacy, it's actually better to use real-time response macam ni, right?
Yes. If that is something, if that's your instructional objective, then this one is the one that you can use lah. Okay,
I understand.
There are actually two other instructional method. Instructional method pula, lecturing method, okay? But I don't think we have time to cover it, but we have covered the most important lah. The instructive and the informative are the most common among the four that are used by law lecturers. Okay, so I will just show you, even though I cannot go into the tools, but at least I show you the narrative lecturing approach. If you maybe you can explore this on your own. Okay, narrative lecturing approach is when you use stories to teach, right? So if you are using a synchronous approach, you can tell stories using image. Not necessarily you have to do a web conferencing for you to tell the story. You can tell stories using image, and this can be done in two ways, either comic or graphic novel, and this one we can use Pixton because I've used this before, okay? Or you can use digital storyboard in Canva, okay? Or if you do not want to use image to tell the story, because image means that you create a graphic novel or digital storyboard and you can just share it with the student, and the student doesn't have to even open YouTube or Zoom whatsoever. They will just look at it in PDF format. Okay, so they can just see stories on papers, but it's in a form of graphic novel or storyboard. Or if you still want video asynchronously, what you can do is just record yourself, okay, using your smartphone, okay, and use tool for video editing. Okay, this one I will not advise you to go to video editing tool like Handbrake, because those are basically for you to shorten. This video compressor. Video editor is different. Video editor, an example would be this one over here. Let me just show you. If you can see, it's called WeVideo. So you can create your own video. Okay, let's say you have recorded yourself using your smartphone. Simple, just hold your hand and then record yourself, and then you just transfer the video into WeVideo. This is web-based, online, so you don't have to download this in your site. So basically, this is, let's say this is the video that you have recorded. You can just add video by importing over here. You can browse and choose what video you want to import. Once you have imported the video, it will appear here in your media folder. Just drag the video like this to at the bottom, to the video line at the bottom over here. So then you can start editing the video. So if you want to use video for narrative, for telling stories, right? So you can actually look at this scissors button over here. You can just press, click the scissors button, it will cut the video into parts. So it's easier for you to tell story that way. Okay, but this needs time to explain, okay, but we don't have time, so I'm just showing you. You can just try to explore on your own. Okay, if you have any questions, you can just ask me in the Telegram group. Okay, apart from using video, we can also use audio in podcasts. Okay, so podcasts, if you want to tell stories using podcasts, let me just show you. Okay. Tadi kan, sorry, podcast pula, Spreaker. Actually, there are many podcast maker tau, but you can explore. But the one that I'm using is Spreaker lah. Okay, so tadi let's say lah, nak create story kan using podcast. Just now we talk about podcast in the context of informative lecturing approach. Now in the context of narrative lecturing approach. So if you want to use it for that purpose, okay, let me just share the screen. Okay, here, focus on this part. Look at the right hand side. These are sound effects. So when you create stories, you can use sound effects over here lah, because you are telling stories kan? So for example, boleh dengar tak Shin?
Boleh Doktor. Boleh dengar.
So you want to say let's say you want to tell a story about criminal case, for example, there was a gunshot. So you can just say there was a gunshot. Or you can say, when it happens, it was actually raining. So you can actually add these sound effects into your podcast. So it will enliven your story as much as when you tell the story in class, because when you tell the story in class, you are in front of the lecture hall, the students can actually see you. So of course, it's more lively. But when you do it in audio podcast, so to make it lively, you use the effects lah, the sound effects over here. Or you can even add your own sound effect by pressing the plus button over here and just add your own effect. You want to add your own voice ke? You want to add any other sounds pun boleh. Right? So this is how you use podcast. If you want to use the narrative approach in lecturing, but using audio lah. Okay. Okay, kejap ya. Sikit lagi. So if you go down, okay, this is asynchronous. Kalau synchronous for narrative atau approach is very simple. You basically just use web conferencing, real-time chat, okay, or audio streaming. You can just tell your story as how you tell them in class lah, because the students can actually see you or hear you in real-time session kan. Alright, so this is the second last one. So the last one that I'm going to show you before we stop the workshop is the other approach. Hang on, yeah. The last one is the Socrative lecturing approach. Okay, if you are using asynchronous approach, for Socrative you actually use video. You can use video if you want to, okay, and you can create video using the same approach that you use, using the same tool that you use for your informative lecturing approach, screencasting, live recording, animation. It's just that the platform will make it Socratic in nature. So when you upload video on learning platform, it will, you can use, for example, yeah, if you put it on Edpuzzle, this is an example. Edpuzzle is a tool which allows you to put video at the same time. There will be questions. It can be questions coming after watching the video or questions coming before watching the video. See, Socratic lecturing is about teaching based on questions, by the questions coming first. So what you can do is you can, in your Edpuzzle, you can arrange for the questions to come first. The content will come after the questions. But I don't have time to actually show you this because we don't have enough time. So this is something that you can explore. All right. Okay, for audio, for podcast, you can use the Q&A comment section for Socratic lecturing. Okay. If you are using synchronous approach for Socratic, then you have to use it together with another thing. Like what I'm doing now, remember this morning I was actually using Mentimeter together with Zoom. Meaning synchronously speaking, the students are in Zoom with me, but to provoke their thoughts, you know, to ask questions to them, I use Mentimeter. So Mentimeter plus Zoom at the same time. So that's how you use Socratic lecturing in online learning, synchronously. Macam tu. Okay, so I think that's all that I can share. It's already 1:30, the end of the workshop. Okay, I will open Q&A session for any questions up until this point.
Tanya, if you want to use macam tadi kan, the way that you use survey tadi, let's say to my students, so students kena ada laptop and smartphone lah together, macam Mentimeter and Zoom tadi.
No, not really actually. But for the purpose of today's workshop, when I noticed that there are quite a number of participants who are not very IT savvy, that's why I use two devices. Actually, if the students, if you're talking about students that are very IT savvy, so they can just use their laptop but different windows.
Okay, alright.
One window for Zoom and they open another window for the Mentimeter. So they just play.
I want to test using the same methods lah just now.
But with the participants today, I take into consideration that most are actually in the category of 50 over age more than 50. Lepas tu not very IT savvy tadi kan, based on the survey tu. So I use two devices, easy to see lah. But you can just use one. Okay, any other questions that you want to ask? Ada apa-apa tak nak tanya?
Assalamualaikum Syarul.
Salam.
I conducted a survey to my students. They gave a feedback that instead of using Zoom,
okay,
because they said Zoom caused the breaching of privacy, they preferred Google Team or FB Live? What's your comment?
Okay, firstly with regards to yang Zoom tu, I just need to clarify lah because when this issue came out tu, so many people were messaging me. I think if I was charging fee for counter pertanyaan, I dah kaya dah kot. Everybody was panicking about Zoom. But actually it was blown out of proportion because if you exercise safety measures, the problem will not be as as worse as what they were talking about lah. The safety measures as in what we're doing today for today's workshop, registration, waiting lobby, lepas tu you don't allow people to actually come in if you don't recognize them, don't allow anybody to click on any while unrecognized links apa semua tu in the chat. So as long as you do that, it's fine. Ini dulu tau, the one before this. But good news is after I think about last 2 weeks, Zoom has actually changed dia punya system, updated their system, it's all encrypted. So now it's so much safer and it's compulsory. Dulu Zoom is very open. It gives option for you to either exercise the safety measures or not. But now it's compulsory, it's by default. So once you use Zoom, it's encrypted, it's all safe lah. So for me, which platform you want to use, it's really up to you and your students. If you feel more comfortable with Google Meet, it's fine. We can go to Google Meet juga because I love Google Meet as well. But there are two reasons why I love Zoom for certain types of classes. Number one is the breakout room functions, which I will show in the next workshop. Breakout room functions allow me to do group works with students as how I do it in lecture halls, meaning I break them into groups, they can work in groups. So in Zoom, we have breakout room functions, okay, and which we can allow the students to go into their groups and then they can come back to the main meeting room. So that's the first reason why I like to use Zoom lah, if I need group discussions. Second, I like to use Zoom because I can see everyone without having to add the add-on. Because for Google Meet and Microsoft Teams, if you want to see everyone like this, like what we're doing now, you have to add the add-on down. So kalau Zoom tak payah. So that's the reason. Tapi if you feel that Google Meet is something that is more something that you're more comfortable with, why not? Tapi in terms of the safety tu tak ada issue dah sekarang after Zoom has done this. Actually kan, let me just clarify this ya. It's not just Zoom. If you don't exercise security measures, can happen anywhere. I attended one online workshop organized by one IPTA. I cannot mention the name of the IPTA lah. We were all together like this. They were using, I think it was Google Meet. We were all like this in the discussion. The workshop was going on. Suddenly a link appear in the middle of the chat section tau. Somebody press the link, a real bomb yang macam an animation bomb tu appeared in the middle of the screen, and we were thrown out of the workshops. The session immediately stops. So that was not Zoom. That was, if I'm not mistaken, that was Google Meet. So it can happen anywhere. So you just have to exercise security measures. Hence the reason why just now when I started the workshop this morning, I told my co-host not to allow anyone. Nasib baik I kenal Kak Jeep siapa. Sebab dia letak nama Kak Jeep, macam kata, ni Dr. Najibah ni kan. So I kenal. Kalau tak, without full name, I won't allow. Even for office meetings pun, I host juga in my Zoom account for faculties meeting before this. So I really very carefully choose who can enter. So exercise security measures regardless of which platform you use lah. Is that answering the question ke, Ustaz?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Mizan, the only thing is that I'm worried about the students' access to internet because I have about 20% of my students very low bandwidth. So Zoom tak boleh nak guna. Dia orang yang cadang guna Google Classroom. Even our own LMS is quite heavy for them. So that's the problem. I might resort to Telegram and WhatsApp if things get worse.
You are right. I mean, since we're talking about sharing here, kan, even my experience with my students pun, they have problems with our university's LMS juga because it's quite heavy. So quite a number of them can't access. So that's why I resorted to WhatsApp and apa semua ni lah. I mean, we have to pelbagaikan lah the method for them kan. Tapi kalau macam if you are using Google Classrooms and all that, it's fine, but it's asynchronous lah. Just bear in mind that it's asynchronous. I am very okay with asynchronous, but I know that there are universities which imposes requirement that the parts of the online learning has to be synchronous. So kalau you macam UKM ada requirement tu, part of the learning process has to be synchronous. And lepas tu ada some university macam UKM dia impose that we have to use the LMS. So you have to put whatever things that you do dekat tempat lain, whatever. Macam kalau you buat, if you teach via WhatsApp, don't forget to export the chat. You export the chat, then it will be emailed to your email. Then you can upload whatever things that you have done in your WhatsApp in your LMS. Some universities require you to do that. But I checked with my friends in UIA yesterday. She said it's not compulsory for UIA to use the university's official LMS kan, iTaklim kan. Is it compulsory ke Prof? Prof Farid?
Kita not that strict lah.
So kalau if you're not that strict, so whatever that I'm teaching you today, you can just use any of these platforms. No problem lah. Macam kalau for me, for myself in UKM, whatever things that we do in other platforms, we have to link it back to the UKM folio. Okay, any other questions?
I just want to ask whether Nearport is accessible to low bandwidth.
When you talk about synchronous, it usually requires high bandwidth lah.
Okay, all right. So I need to consider that as well. Thank you.
Any other questions? Tak ada eh? Okay, if there are no further questions, I hope that whatever that I have shared today with you helps. The purpose is to actually help my law gang, because all this while I've been conducting workshops for so many people from so many disciplines. Okay, and I feel so happy that today I'm helping my own gang to to use online learning. Especially this big gang comes from UIA. All right, so I hope that it helps. Next week on Tuesday, I'll be sharing more on how to conduct tutorials activity. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, everyone. So selamat berbuka puasa.